Let's get nasty on a Tuesday. It's a Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Andrew Marsh and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. 203, your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. We got our guy, Brad Thompson, for the first hour of the show. What's up, BT?
What is going on, fellas? How we doing?
A lot better than BK.
Yeah. So I'm at home, obviously. I got this little access unit thing, and I can tune in to the station. And all I could hear was screaming and give me everything you got. Give me everything you got. And everything you got. What the hell did I tune into? Because that sounded painful, yet it seemed like he liked it too. I don't know what was going on.
Yeah, I can't comment on that second part, but the first part. So he lost. They do their picks each and every Friday, and the loser for the month faces a punishment. They did a punishment, I believe, every week last year.
It was like weekly, but they decided to go monthly, but make the punishment bigger.
That's the worst punishment any show on any station, in my opinion, has done. Just watching that guy get zapped every segment was something to behold. Jamie, I know you watched the first one or the second one or whatever.
Second one.
Carrie and I observed another one. I'm like, wow.
It's a lot.
Did they put this device inside of him? Like where did the device go?
Wow, that would have been a really good idea, Brad. I believe it was on the outside of him, though.
Okay, so it wasn't an implant.
No. Although
that.
I'm sure, maybe next time. Never know.
I'm just trying to paint the picture because what I heard was a lot. And maybe it's just because I had like headphones on and they're all encompassing. But boy, it was a lot of BK screams.
Yeah, it certainly was. Yeah. And a lot of people screaming for Adam Wainwright over the weekend. It was Waino's weekend.
Well done. Look at
and
you.
BT, thank you, Jamie. Transition. BT, you were there. Your favorite moment of the weekend?
Yeah, look, I'd like to transition it right back, Anthony. Right back to, I owe you all an apology. Not good this week for me, guys.
Oh, in the pick'em. Yeah, we lost.
Not good.
Oh, yeah, that's
We
right.
lost.
I forgot about that.
Struggling. Jamie, you keep doing your thing. You had 12, I saw. Anthony, I didn't see your number, but I think I got 8 correct, boys. 8. Now, have I watched football yet this year? No, I haven't seen it down. Doesn't matter.
Couldn't tell.
Should have known that some quarterbacks weren't even playing, turns out, in some of these games where I picked them to win because I am a believer that even a team without their starting quarterback will be just fine.
Sure.
So, anyways, starting this week, I'll be paying attention, and I apologize because I feel like I lost it for the team. Was it a wide margin that we lost by or a very Brad screwed up margin?
Well, we were down by 1 heading into last night's game.
Damn it.
But, we win and lose as a team. Okay, so Team Fast Lane is still up 3 weeks to 1 over the Rizzuto Show. Welcome to the party, Riz. Welcome to it's now an event.
Like, I feel like it was
a
almost
game.
necessary for us to let them have one. Otherwise, they wouldn't. They were already getting a little pissy and moany. And So it's good to have them back on board.
Yes, but your leader again here in the Fast Lane. Actually, Carrie and Jamie both tied. So
Carrie had a great week.
Jamie and Carrie with 12 points. I had 11. Marsh with 10, and BT with 8. But again, BT,
boy,
you're going to be fine. You're going to be just fine.
Why does Andrea have that airsoft gun behind you in the basement?
2 shots, Andrea. It's 2 shots now. BT's got 2.
Probably does.
She would enjoy that. We need to get her in on this.
I still have the gun that we had.
Oh.
It's in the house. I had to hide it because my son kept wanting to play with it.
Well, have him take 2. Listen, have him play with it for just 1 time, 2 shots. Dylan can get your punishment out of the way, and you're good.
There is a good chance that if I just sat right where I am right now, to my left, about 3 feet away, nice TV on the wall, he would shoot that. There is no question that I'd have a 70-inch mistake on the wall. And that's not how tall he is. That's just the TV. He'd blow that thing up. There's a good chance.
It slipped, Dad.
Yeah, I bet it did.
You're right behind me.
Guess what else is going to slip?
Yep.
Anyways, so the Waino weekend. Was that where you were trying to take this?
Waino weekend.
Dude, it was awesome. In a season where thank goodness for side stories, in a season where you lost, 20 games under 500, to have the send-off like they did, and it was just, the cool part was every day of the weekend, there was something. It wasn't just like a giveaway. I know Friday had the like Waino Forever t-shirt or whatever, but he got a pinch hit at bat in a game where you're getting your brakes beat off early, and it's like, Christ,
well,
give us something. Oh, wasn't it something, Jamie? Give us something, and then you got something. You got an Adam Wainwright pinch hit, playing Song of the South as he came up. He comes out of his shoes in the first swing. I'm pretty sure that he adjusted himself, just got fully aligned with one foul ball straight back, hit a rocket to second base, and the ovation was cool. The concert, dude, I'm sitting there watching this concert. Were you guys at the game on Saturday? Did either of you guys make it?
No.
All right, so I'm watching this, and it was so surreal. Just like, is this happening? Is this a real thing where this guy just got done? He's out of uniform. Then he comes in. He looks like Garth Brooks. They trot him around on a pickup truck. He, like, jumps over the center field wall and then just starts playing a freaking concert where the lights are like, Waino. It was, and he's nailing it. Like, 3 songs. They were incredible. All songs that he wrote himself. It was the most ridiculous and amazing thing that you've ever seen in a game where the Cardinals actually did win the ball game and scored a ton of runs, 11 runs in the first 3 innings. So that was fun. And then the send-off on Sunday, dude, crazy emotional. All of the speeches. I love how he broke down and cried. Not when his family came out as much, but when Yachty did. He knew his family was going to be there. He didn't know that Yachty was going to be able to make it, and that was cool. Getting the at-bat was great. I mean, the only thing that could have gone better is he hit a tank job in his last one, but I thought the send-off was neat. And I enjoy like every single bit of it. What was it? Did you guys have one favorite part? And I'm sure you guys broke this down yesterday. What was your favorite?
Jamie liked the puppy.
Yeah. I like the puppy. I like dogs, Brad.
The puppy giveaway.
Yeah. I like dogs, too. I am glad that they didn't wait too much longer with that dog that was in a basket.
I saw that.
It's just like, boy, it's a little toasty out here for this dog in the basket. So let's give this dog a Louie here. Come on, Louie. Let's start with that. Let's start with the dog next time.
Right.
No, that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I just love that Adam Wainwright got his moment, and the fans had an opportunity to show appreciation to a guy that it was a great Cardinal throughout his career, and somebody that it didn't go well this season for the entire team. But when you end your first mile marker was striking out Carlos Beltran in the NLCS, and then your last thing that people are going to remember is you 200 wins in an absolute dominant performance. And then everybody had an opportunity to give you the send-off that, you deserve because of what you did for the Cardinals. I think the whole weekend was fitting.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I'm so glad that he didn't pitch again. I'm very glad that his arm felt awful. Like, he went into Ollie's office after that game, and he wanted to pitch again. Like, they talked the next day, and Ollie's like, dude, just go play catch, do whatever. Like, just let me know how you're feeling, and we'll talk. And Ollie, did not necessarily want him to go out again because he wanted him to go out on top, as we've talked about. And he goes into Ollie's office, and he's like, hey, maybe you're right. He, lifts his hand up, and he can't even get his elbow up, towards his shoulder.
It's not going to work.
And he's like, you know what? I think this might be good. Thank goodness that his arm could not move anymore, because there's nothing more that guy could have done. Even if he went out there and got a win, or even if he went out there, there's nothing better than the send-off that he got last time. So it was special. It's going to be really weird next year, man. No Waino, obviously no Yachty. Cool to see Yachty at the ballpark. I love the sign that he put up, said, I want to see Waino bat. I really enjoyed that. But, boy, it is a full-on changing of the guard. Who is ready for that? Who is ready to take on that mantle of, the face of it? Goldie, obviously, is part of that. Arenado, you would think. Contreras. But it's going to be really interesting to see who takes up that mantle.
We're going to talk about that a little bit later on in the hour. Brad Thompson with us for this full hour here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. But we wanted to ask BT about Oli Marmol's comments on Sunday prior to the game, and get kind of his read on where this team is heading into the offseason. That's next on 101 ESPN.
If you're in the market for a new vehicle or pre-owned vehicle, please head over to Johnny Londoff Chevrolet. My friends over at Londoff Chevrolet are going to take incredible care of you. They've got great inventory. And let's not forget, they also have 2 locations. Now, the original location right there in Florissant, Missouri, and the brand new Londoff Autoplex located out in St. Peters, right off of Highway 70. Again, great inventory in the new category as well as pre-owned category. The sales representatives are going to make sure that they get you the best possible price for that vehicle. And the Londoff guarantee says he's going to give you the most money possible for your trade-in. And I absolutely love that. I also love the fact that they are always looking to take care of you. The moment you purchase your vehicle, they're already scheduling your first maintenance, your oil change, and your tune-ups and things like that because they want you to love your vehicle for the entirety of its life. And I know this because I've been a customer for over 20 years myself, and they always take great care of me and my family. So please get over to either location. Again, tell them that Jamie Rivers sent you in, or you can call them and set up an appointment. That number's 314-837-1800, or you can visit them at londoff.com or londoffautoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
Johnny Londoff Chevrolet.
Oli Marmol, I think, for all the gripes that fans may have with him over the year, I thought he was as accountable as possible in these quotes. And that quote in particular was especially telling because the Cardinals really are looking towards next season. Right now, at this moment, they are meeting with their entire baseball analytics department, the whole coaching staff in the front office, and doing a player-by-player review by performance. And I thought that quote was pretty telling because all year long, I've walked in that clubhouse every day. I would have reported it if it was different, but I did feel a sense of unity in the clubhouse. The majority of the guys there wanted to be there, believed in each other in the group, believed in the coaching staff, and you could see that with Oli being brought back, that the players still had trust in their manager and their coaching staff.
That was Katie Wu, who appeared on the BK and Ferrario show yesterday, talking about some of the comments made by Oli Marmol before Sunday's game. Brad Thompson is with us for the first hour of the show today. Jamie Rivers, I'm Anthony Stalter. So here's some of the things that Oli said. I want a clubhouse full of guys that have one thing on their mind, and it's not themselves. It's winning a championship. You start weeding those out, those being the players. 2024 starts as soon as this game is over. The players are furious and embarrassed as to what happened this year, and in no way ever want to repeat it. That goes for myself and every player that will be returning. I look forward to this offseason. It'll be important, and we can't mess this up. We win. That's what we do here. I don't mind fans being mad. They should be. They should be extremely frustrated and pissed. You should call for my head. All of that is part of the sport. You're a fan. You're fanatical about your team. You live and die by wins and losses. When you don't win, you should be mad. I would hate to be at a place where you lose and nobody cares. I want no part of that. Brad, you either observed Oli saying it or reading what Oli said. I'm sure none of this is a surprise to you because you know Oli is a big-time competitor. But did you have one big takeaway from the comments that Oli made before Sunday's game?
No, because honestly, he's kind of been having these conversations with us throughout the season, really. I mean, it is very clear. I'll say this about Oli, and it's to me, it's incredibly impressive. He is going to say what he's thinking. He is not going to sugarcoat things. Now, he'll protect his players, and he'll do the right things at times, but he is not a guy that acts in a way that he's like trying to save or salvage his job. He believes in the way that he does it. He believes in his staff, and he believes in the approach and the communication and the process of it. And to me, that's incredibly impressive because I know that there are a lot of guys around that are just say whatever the boss wants them to say, and we're good to go. Like Oli does not do that, and I do credit him for that. And like the one that I think stands out for a lot of people is the basically want guys that want to be here. Essentially, you're going to find that, and Jamie, you know this, like you're going to find that on every team. There are going to be guys that are in it for, and everybody ultimately, like we're all in things for ourselves for a certain amount of it, right? Like you want to do well for yourself, you want to set up your family for success, you want to make money, you want to do all of those things. But when you get into the thick and thin of competition, you want guys that you're going to be sending out there on the mound, or you're going to send up there for an at-bat that truly want to win. And if you have the ability to do so, if you can identify the ones that you just don't think fit that mold, not that they're not good players, not that they're not good people, but maybe don't fit that same killer instinct of a mold, and you could weed them out and you could get somebody else in that fits that bill, I think it just makes the team a little bit better.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that the biggest question that a lot of the listeners and Cardinals fans have is, yeah, they believe what Oli's saying, and they believe it to be the right way of thinking, but will the front office agree with Oli? And that's what I'm curious, too, is, and in fairness to the front office, there are certain moves that are much more difficult to make just from a logistics standpoint of you can't just trade a guy here, trade a guy there. I think what we've learned over the course of the last couple of seasons, in the Blues in particular, and now the Cardinals, there are certain guys that have no trade clauses. There are certain guys that won't get you a big return. There's people that overvalue their own assets. But at the end of the day, if Oli needs to move on from some people in that clubhouse, will he get that backup from the front office?
Yeah, I mean, it always depends on what you can get in return, or what. Like there are different caveats, but I would lean towards yes, and the only reason I would say that is because they already did it at the trade deadline with multiple players. Like that has already been done. I won't say who the players are. You can look at the players that are traded. You can try to put pieces together if you want to, but they already did that. And a lot of it wasn't just because of the return for somebody. Some of it, for at least one or two of the guys, was because this guy is not a fit for what we want to do, and he is not a good influence on the others that are trying to do what we need them to do. So I would say yes. I would say yes, that they would be inclined to do that. Now, is everything going to be perfect? No, you're not always going to have a perfect clubhouse. That's where you better have good leadership, that you can have that guy over there that maybe doesn't totally fit in. He can't screw up anybody else because you have good leaders and you have good guys that kind of keep all the other guys kind of away from that negative stuff. Like, you're going to have some of that stuff here and there. But I do think that, again, with all of these comments that Oli is making, I promise you he's already had these conversations with Mo, with Gersh, with the entire front office, and they've already had these player evaluations even before the end of the season. Like, hey, so-and-so fits, so-and-so doesn't. What do you think? And that back and forth, and again, another thing that I find really interesting and refreshing about Oli. I don't know if you guys know this. In a conversation like with me, if you are going to bring up something, my first thing is to get defensive. Like, well, what about you? No, I do. Jamie, I swear
it doesn't sound like the Brad we know.
Oh, it doesn't? Oh, it doesn't. Okay, Anthony. Great. Oli does a really good job of his first thing when he's in like one of those conversations is like he asks more questions. And he truly does try to see the other side of a little bit of everything. And I think that he's done that with all of his players. I know he does it with the front office as well, because there's going to be, just like he would have pushback with maybe a piece that comes in or doesn't come in, or he wants a guy out of there. They're going to have pushback with, well, why would you do this? Why would you do that? Like, if you don't have a good conversation and an ability to do that back and forth with your front office, you're not going to have any success at all. So I do believe that part of it is promising when you look at the relationship between the front office and the manager's seat. I think it's good, and I think that that's very important to be honest, both sides, as they're going through all these meetings right now. And it's not like the front office doesn't know what guys might be issues. It's not like they don't know what guys in free agency might end up helping this ball club. But if you have both sides on the same page, maybe you can find some sort of a middle ground. Say, hey, I got you this guy. Now you're going to have to deal with this over here and make that work because we can't swing both things. I just feel like that common ground is going to be something that both sides have found already but need to continue.
How far are they off from having the clubhouse they want? In your rough estimate.
Yeah, well, I mean, as far as having the clubhouse they want, I'd say they're 2 starting pitchers, a good bullpen piece away, and maybe another impact bat that's a veteran.
From a let's call it a personality characteristic standpoint.
Yeah, not far. They're really not. It's a couple guys probably, and again, not to speculate who they are, but there's not. I don't think that it's too many, but it's also. It's enough where you would just like to, let's have everybody on the same page. And especially, it's not just one. You hear Oli as the mouthpiece of that, where it's like, hey, we want guys that are in and want to be here and have a championship mindset. Promise you that it's not Oli just saying that. It's their teammates, it's veterans, it's leaders, where it's like, hey, this ain't working. Let's move on. And that is the job of the front office to make that work. Now, it's got to make baseball sense to work. I'm not going to trade you an asset that is very, very solid, that has a lot of upside for nothing, but you have to weigh the pros and cons of certain things. And to echo Katie Woo's comments right off the top from The Athletic, who does an awesome job, the clubhouse has not been an issue. Like, it really hasn't. Like, I've been so impressed, especially down the stretch, as this team has not – they didn't have anything to play for. They were struggling mightily. The vibe is good, man. The vibe is very good. The leaders lead. There's fun. There's a good – but not like a we don't care atmosphere. It was good, but there are outliers, right? There are guys where you just look over, it's like, okay, solo mission. Like, there's a little bit of that, and then maybe you want to weed that out a little.
That's Brad Thompson, Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter. It's the Fast Lane on 101 at ESPN. We'll tell you which 2 pitchers Derek Gould tweeted out for the Cardinals that they could be interested in. And is it an and or is it an or with these pitchers? We'll explain what that is next on 101 ESPN.
If you're thinking about selling your St. Louis area home right now, you might be overwhelmed by the process, especially in this market. Things are all over the place. Take it from me. I strongly recommend that you call and spend 5 minutes getting to know Gloria Liu with your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Gloria understands that you have questions and that selling your home can be stressful, because it is stressful. Gloria has mastered the home selling process with her Guaranteed Sold program. You've heard me talk about this before. All it is, and Gloria simply states that she will sell your home at the agreed upon price and time frame, or Gloria will buy it herself, and she guarantees that in handwriting. So let Gloria show you how she nets her sellers more money and how she sells faster on average than any other agent around. If you need more proof, check out Gloria's 5-star reviews. That's right, she's got 5-star reviews for selling homes, which is what you're wanting to do. So please give her a call. Tell her Jamie Rivers sent you in there. That number is 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888. Or you can visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Conditions do apply. Gloria and the seller must agree upon the price and possession date.
ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. Postseason baseball is here. However, it's the first time since 2018 that the Cards will not participate. The wild card round slate for today includes Texas at Tampa Bay, Toronto at Minnesota, Arizona at Milwaukee, and Miami at Philly. So far, the Texas Rangers are beating the Tampa Bay Rays 1-0. Last night in preseason action, the Blues lost to the Columbus Blue Jackets 5-3, and they'll be back at it tomorrow taking on the Stars. Pregame starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7. You can catch all the action right here on 101 ESPN. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff. Find new roads and shop 24/7 at londoff.com and londoffautoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
Well, as Andrew Marsh just noted, we have postseason baseball. It's starting wild card rounds. Rays, Rangers. First pitch was at 2 o'clock, and the Rangers have a 1-0 lead in the top of the second. They got Tyler Glasnow in some trouble early on in that one. It should be an interesting series between those two teams.
I got to admit, guys, it still feels weird. Feels weird.
With no Cardinals.
With no Cardinals in the postseason. Say what you want about wild card team, 1 game, 2 games, whatever it is you get pissed off about as far as postseason baseball is concerned. It's just weird not to have a minute.
Agreed.
I don't like it, Anthony. I don't like it.
I don't like it.
No.
I'm hate watching the game right now.
You should be. You absolutely should be, Brad. But
well, we could cheer on former Cardinals players, though. There's plenty in these series.
Including Montgomery, who's starting today for Texas.
What, Brad?
I ran across a stat today, and I knew that he was having a pretty good postseason just in general. But Randy Arozarena, I don't know if you guys remember him. Former outfielder. We don't need him. But he's got an 11-21 postseason OPS.
Is that good?
That's pretty good, 11-21. Well, I thought it was like good. I'm like, you just read that. I'm like, wow, that's really good. And that's like minimum of 100 plate appearances. But turns out, it's really good. He's third all time. That's behind Lou Gehrig and Babe Ruth. Those are the two
those names
that are ahead of him. Oh, my goodness. I'm like, that's a typo, right? And 4 is Adolis Garcia. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, my goodness.
Not yet.
Well, who knows? Maybe good things are on the way, right? No?
Yes. Of
Always.
course good things are on the way. Anthony, go ahead. What kind of good things you got?
According to, MLB Deadline News had the tweet, but it's according to Derek Gould, the Cardinals intend to pursue Sonny Gray and Aaron Nola this offseason, according to sources. Again, for Derek Gould.
Let's go get him.
Shoot. Might as well. Yeah, let's go shotgun. It's buckshot. Let's just spray and see what you can hit.
Might as well. I mean, if they were to get Sonny Gray and Aaron Nola in the same offseason, you get an ace. You've got Sonny Gray, who's a number 2, and your starting rotation looks a hell of a lot better in one offseason. Even if they did nothing else, which that shouldn't be the case. They should continue to add. I agree with you, BT. Why not get a slew of starting pitchers? Why not get, those 2 guys, add a couple of, at least maybe one guy in a 1-year deal, have an opportunity to rebound like a Luis Severino. Go that route and don't leave any of the internal options fighting for one of those spots. If that's what happens, great. But to me, take the sledgehammer to the fly this offseason if you can.
Jamie, you had a thought really quick. I could just see it on your face on the internal options.
Yeah, not great. No, I'm with Anthony on this one. I really am. I'm thinking, I said it a couple weeks ago, actually. I said, if one of these young pitchers comes out of spring training and they have done such a great job that you're even contemplating them being in the rotation, then that's a win for your organization. But it can't be something, in my opinion only, that can't be what the strategy is. If I'm the Cardinals, the strategy for me has to be that'd be unbelievable to get Sonny Gray and Aaron Nola. I'm still in a little bit of disbelief that will ever happen. Although I want it to. I would really like it to. That means they'd have to choose us too, Anthony. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
And then you got Michaelis, healthy Steven Matz, fingers crossed. And then maybe another one of those guys you're talking about come in there as a 4-5 kind of whatever, good innings eater, good solid veteran pitcher. And then if it's Zach Thompson, if it's Graceffo, if it's one of those guys, then great. Let them push the old guy out. Mm-hmm. Let's push the old guy, the veteran guy, out of the mix because we played so good. That would make me happy when it comes to talking about internal options.
I think that would make everybody happy if that were to happen. Jamie, I think that you hit the nail on the head, though, with the biggest point. I don't disagree at all that the Cardinals will pursue both Nola and Gray. They should be pursuing both Nola and Gray. And what the heck, call Snelly and see what he's up to just in case. And just why not, right? But the two sides have to pick you. That's the hard part, right? So if you think like, hey, in an offseason, could the Cardinals pick up Aaron Nola and Sonny Gray? Yes. Do I think that they will pick up Aaron Nola and Sonny Gray? No, not necessarily. Just due to the
Brad,
fact
I don't like your
that
attitude.
they will be. No, I'm not saying they're going to be outbid. See, that's the thing. Like, I feel like Cardinal fans are so used to the Cardinals being like, second place, but the Cardinals were like $15 million off. I will be surprised, very surprised if that's the story this year. If a free agent goes somewhere else that the Cardinals were in on, I will be shocked if the story comes out. It's like, well, that team was offering $20 million more or the one extra year. Like, that would really surprise me knowing the dire straits this rotation is in. I think it will come down to, I like San Diego, or I wanted to play in New York. Like, I feel like that's kind of what it's going to come down to at some point. So that does beg an extra question. Are the Cardinals willing to overspend to get a guy here? If that ends up being the question, I guess we'll find out. But getting two of those guys, man, it looks really good on paper. It's going to be hard to do. And I really think that's where that creativity comes in again. Of you have a glut of outfielders, you got a glut of second basemen, you've got some prospects. I feel like, and Anthony, prospects get anything done.
No doubt.
I feel like that's where you end up really, really adding to your rotation and add something strong.
Yeah, that's the thing. You're right. I don't view, my biggest concern isn't the Cardinals are not going to spend what it takes to get a starter. My biggest concern is they do, and Nola still wants to go back to Philly, or Snell wants to go to the Yankees, or Sonny Gray really liked his time in Minnesota and goes back to Minnesota. It's that concern. I think the narrative becomes they're unwilling to spend. That might be the case in some regard. That was the case for Luis Robert. That was the case for him.
Correct.
But not every time did the Cardinals miss out on a free agent because they weren't willing to spend. That's just been the blanket that some Cardinals fans have thrown over it. The reality is Giancarlo Stanton did not want to play for the Cardinals or the Giants or some other teams. He wanted to go to the top four teams from the previous year. There had been other cases where guy just did not want to play for anybody but so-and-so. It doesn't mean that the Cardinals were unwilling to spend.
No doubt. And this is going to be a year where they've got money coming off the books. Obviously, they got Waino money coming off the books for sure. And they already realized that last year the price of business was very high, and I think that they were shocked by it. So I saw a graphic, I believe it was this morning on MLB Network, and it was showing like the three most disappointing teams on the season. And not shockingly, those teams were the Mets, the Padres, and the Cardinals. But they showed the payrolls of those teams. It was first, and a record-setting first. I think it was like $330 million or something ridiculous for the Mets. That was number one. The Padres were number 3, and the Cardinals were 14th overall in payroll. Cardinals are going to have to bump up a little bit higher than that when it comes to their payroll when you believe. And again, it's not just about spending money. It's not just about dollars. It's about spending that and allocating those dollars correctly. Anthony, they could come out and give the Fast Lane $1 million, a show if they wanted to.
Yeah, do that.
Help their bottom line.
I'm willing to risk it.
No, yeah, do it. I think that helps.
All right. Well, that was a bad example, but
I think it was a great one.
I do too.
I agree, and I would love to be back on the show full time. If we could get something like that going on, that would be fantastic.
Ship, I'm out of here.
But that's it. They got to spend the right money. I think that ends up being the big key. But they'll be in on these players. We'll see if those other players pick them. And I think that that's not the only place that you need to invest. Like, I seriously, if I'm the Cardinals, I am also thinking about bringing in a high-octane arm in the bullpen. I would be in on Hader at this point, too. And I know that a lot of times when you look at closers, right, you say, well, that's a team that's already complete if you're going to spend that much money on it. Baseball's changed, man. The game of baseball has changed. You can't have enough back end of the bullpen guys that can shut down a ball game. Think about your team if Helsley's an eighth inning guy for you. What does that look like? Like how much are you shortening a game? Now, will they spend that much money on a closer? Probably not. But I would think about it. I would really think about spending some resources that way too. So, because when you're looking, are there any other free agents? And I would be, if I'm the Cardinals, I would absolutely be in the mix of bringing Montgomery back in too. I think that Jordan Montgomery's a solid piece where he's not. You have to get a one still, I think. Montgomery's not just going to come back in just because he wore a different uniform for a minute and comes back doesn't mean he's your one. He's just not that. But I would absolutely entertain the idea of bringing Monty back.
Yeah, Monty's the game one starter here right now.
And he just made a hell of a play on a bunt to save a run.
We always talk about
best athlete on the field.
No, we always talk about sincerely. We talk about who's your game one starter. Is he your game one starter? I'm not saying Monty's an ace or even a number one for that matter. But Texas right now, whether circumstances or choice, he's the game one starter.
And it's a little of both.
Yeah,
because Scherzer, if he's healthy, he starts this. But Monty has also outpitched John Gray, and he outpitched Nathan Eovaldi. I mean, so that it's both in that case. But Montgomery's a perfect example, I think, of what we were just talking about. So when we were down at Auto Centers Nissan last Friday for our broadcast, there was a gentleman, Wiggity, darn right, Wiggity.
We saw him.
There was we did. He stopped by. There was a gentleman that came over to the table and said, here's an idea, bring back Montgomery. And we were all like, yeah, in. But we also said, if he does come back, if he want, it's his choice. So again, this plays into why didn't they just bring back Montgomery?
I don't know if Monty likes it here.
He's a free agent.
Well, I don't know that he did.
Maybe he did, but maybe he likes it. Maybe he liked pitching in pinstripes better. Maybe he fell in love with pitching for the Rangers.
I'm just saying,
his
I don't
choice.
know. He came in here at the end of last season. This season did not go the way anybody wanted.
In what way?
Well, a lot of ways, Anthony.
Okay.
But maybe that left a bad taste in his mouth. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe he can't wait to talk to the Cardinals again. I don't know one side or the other of it.
Yeah, but just to assume that money could just go ahead and be allocated to Jordan Montgomery, it's a nice thought, but Montgomery's going to choose you too.
Guys, I got one name. Really, it's two names. It's a first and a last, and it's 9 syllables, okay? Yoshinobu Yamamoto.
Yeah.
That's your guy.
There we go.
So, BT, I was going to ask you about this. There's another guy, too, Imama.
We're going to call him Yoshi.
What's the other guy? Imangu? I don't know. I'm totally botching that up. There's another Japanese pitcher that's out there that is
Bring them both.
Sought after. Like, is that even a direction you'd consider if you're the Cardinals? Or do you think you have to get the name?
It's 100%. No, it's 100%. Like, so Yamamoto, you look, he's won the equivalent of the Cy Young a couple of years now, and he's only 25 years old. He's not a big dude. He's like 5'10", $175. You would absolutely think about bringing that dude in. He's got mid-90s fastball, good split, good curveball. But the issue is, it's not even the money. Like, I don't even know what that money is going to look like for him. Kodai Senga signed a 5-year, $75 million deal, but Kodai was 5 years older than this guy. I think the highest deal that has ever been thrown out there for somebody out of Japan was like $160 million, somewhere around there. I have to find it. But you also have to pay the posting fee, not a huge deal necessarily. But it goes back to what we were just talking about with your big actual free agents that are from the States. They still have to pick you. If you're a Japanese star, do you think that your first thought is middle of the country in the United States in the Midwest?
Probably not,
right? You're probably thinking maybe Seattle.
All season long with Newt.
You could, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not nothing. That is not nothing.
Something to think about.
That's a good call. Yeah. Newt's actually going to Japan early in the offseason. Maybe that's part of the recruiting.
There it is.
Yes.
Exactly, yeah.
He's going to bring his grinder with him.
Yeah, do a little work there, Newt.
Mm-hmm. He's releasing a new model, I heard, this year.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
This one's automatic. You don't even have to twist this one. It twists it for you.
Well, I think there's a perfect segue into talking about what this new era of baseball will look like in St. Louis. Maybe it's what Jamie just described. That's next in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN.
Boys didn't go all that great for us in the Pick'em Challenge last week. That's okay. You know why? Still got FanDuel. Had a lot of fun playing FanDuel over the weekend, America's #1 sports book. I've been using it for years, but Anthony, if you're a brand new customer right now, FanDuel's offering $200 in bonus bets, and they guarantee that as long as you place a $5 bet. So again, that's $200 in bonus bets if you place a $5 bet, and you get it win or lose.
Don't be the person that's like, oh, yeah, I had the Seahawks last night.
I didn't.
What'd you do? Did you just tell your buddies? Yeah, I told them they'd win. Okay, we'll go to FanDuel, load up on them next time, and have your picks mean something. FanDuel.com's where it's at. The app's great to use. They get the spreads, the player props, the same game parlays, the live betting. You could do it all at FanDuel, BT.
Yeah, FanDuel is the place to be, guys. It's so easy. Go to FanDuel.com/fast. That's FanDuel.com/fast. That's how you get in on all the action. And like Anthony said, quit telling your buddies about all these great bets. Why don't you cash in yourself on one of those big-time parlays you always put together? You're going to cash it over at FanDuel. 21 and over, present in Illinois. First online real money wager. Only $10 first deposit required. Bonus issue is non-withdrawable bonus. Bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, code 1-800-GAMBLER.
Segment with our guy Brad Thompson here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. BT had mentioned something in the first segment when we were talking about Adam Wainwright, that now you don't have Waino You don't have Albert. You don't have Yachty. It is essentially going to be a new era in Cardinals baseball. Goldie's also on a one-year deal now. Now, maybe he gets an extension in the offseason.
I was wondering about that. How long do you think it takes for him to offer him an extension, or does he?
Spring training, 2-year deal.
Yeah, I was about to say, I could see him doing it this offseason and Goldie signing it. So Goldschmidt.
It's your typical spring extension.
Yeah.
Get everybody in the tent to be like, here's Goldie. He gets 2 more years. And everybody's like, damn, that's a smart idea.
Everybody's excited.
I would be excited about 2 more years of Goldie.
Anthony's been trying to trade him for 6 months.
Dude, I know. I've listened. It's happened as I've been on the show. He's done it. I don't know why he hates Goldie. Goldie's about as nice as you're going to get, Anthony. I don't know if you know this. He won an MVP a year ago. Pretty good player. Great over at first base. Solid veteran. Good mentor for some of the young guys that you got a lot of. But no, by all means, Anthony, ship him off for prospects.
Brad, I think Anthony's problem is that he views himself as lesser than Paul Goldschmidt, therefore hates him for that.
We're all lesser than Paul Goldschmidt, okay, as human beings and as athletes. Like, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
Yeah, Anthony.
You know, the Jets have a great defense. Great defense. They
love Sauce Gardner.
Goldie doesn't play for the Jets.
The running game when Breece Hall is being used is great. It's got Garrett Wilson, number 1 wide receiver.
G-Dub.
It doesn't matter. They don't have a quarterback. It doesn't matter. He's not. Achilles is snapped. Doesn't matter if you don't. It doesn't matter if you don't have pitching.
Anthony, who cares what you think?
Wow. Nobody. But I'm going to say it anyways. Doesn't matter if you don't have pitching. I know Goldie's a great guy. I know he's an MVP.
He's a fantastic guy.
It's moot.
No, that's Newt.
If you don't have pitching.
Newt.
Moot. That's what everybody's going to be screaming next year if you don't get the pitching that you need. So that's where I'm at on that. Anyways, what is the new era of baseball going to look like in St. Louis, guys?
Dominant.
Oh, my goodness. That's great. That was fantastic.
I feel like, if you had to say, it looks like Clydesdales. It looks like Clydesdales bunting, but not the type where you turn around and drop one down on the infield. No. It's up on the grandstands. It's beautiful. It's glorious. The chill of October baseball.
Picturing a different bunting when you brought up the horses. All right.
Yeah, no, it feels like I don't know what it looks like, guys. To be honest with you, it's been a changing of the guard. We've been so used to seeing the same leaders for years and years on end, and this year, Anthony, you laid it out perfectly with Waino. This year didn't go like Waino wanted to. Storybook finish, which was perfect. It was a great way to go out, but you are going to have to. There's going to have to be some young guys, in my opinion, that step into leadership roles that are going to have to, like, maybe they're not comfortable with it yet. Maybe they're not ready for it, but there is going to be a need. I think you already know what your core looks like with Goldie and Arenado and with Contreras, right? Those are your guys that have been around, been there, done that. But I'm looking at next year. I'm looking at guys like, and I think that he's got some of these characteristic traits already. I'm looking at Tommy Edman to step up a little bit more. I'm specifically looking at Donovan. I think Donovan is a guy that can lead, and I think he's a guy that somebody will listen to when he speaks. Gorman, to me, is more of a rusty nail where he's just kind of Billy Goat gruff, which can be good, and he's not afraid to put somebody in their place. Love that. So I feel like some of your young guys might have to step up into some of these bigger roles, but you still have your great example from your veterans that are out there.
Yeah. I mean, if it is a bit of a youth movement, great.
Can they get by with that, though? Like, I'm wondering, because you've had such
Depends
a
on how good the
drop-off.
youth is.
You've had such a drop-off in leadership with Albert, Yachty, now Waino, and you do have Goldie and you have Arenado. I do believe those guys to be leaders, but in different ways than maybe what we're used to as far as managing a clubhouse as a player it goes. Some of the younger guys, yes, have to step up. I just wonder, BT, is there the possibility of the Cardinals just adding a bench bat or a player that is a good leader to come in, or would that be more disruptive?
Oh no, I think it's very important that they add a veteran like that. I really do, and that's one that that guy is usually like a late signing. He is still around, and you look at him and say, okay, well this fits what we need. I think that guy is very, very important. I don't have that guy's name yet.
No, I didn't expect that.
A Carlos Beltran type.
Oh, or
I'll take
Michael
him right
Brantley
now.
type.
Michael
Brantley is one
Brantley
of those
type.
guys who is around. Yeah, but yes, like those are important pieces that have maybe been a part of winning cultures before, because that is incredibly important to continue that winning culture, to never get to that point. I've told you guys, I've referenced after leaving the Cardinals and going to a different organization before they had changed things, where we would lose a game in Kansas City and it'd be like, what's for dinner? Boom, music's playing. Boom, doof, doof, doof. That sucked. I'm sitting around like, we're good with this? And I'm like, boy, I lost some of them too, guys. Maybe that's why I was a little upset. Like, I just gave up 7. We're cool. But like, you got to make sure that you have enough guys around that are pissed off about losing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that you like let it carry into the next day, but like you have to have that moment where you walk in, you're upset about it. And I know that the Cardinals still have that, but they got to make sure that they continue to keep that edge. And you got to teach your young guys that, hey, that's not what this is. So like a big thing, and I know they've already done this, and I know they've sat down with Walker and Wynn specifically and said, hey, this is a great experience for you. This is not what this is like. It is not. The at-bats are important. The reps in the field are important. The losing, this is not what we do.
Yeah.
And you better know that the expectations are a hell of a lot higher next year than they are right now, because that is going to be forever important. Your culture, your expectations coming into a season, the feeling when you lose a game, you should be upset about it. When you win a game, you should not be surprised. You should be surprised when you lose. Like the expectation, you should go out and roll everybody. I think they'll have the offense to do that, and I really hope they add the pitching to do it.
That's Brett Thompson, Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter. BT, great stuff as always, man. We'll check back with you in a couple days.
Sounds good, fellas. I'm going to sit around and watch baseball.
Well,
sounds like a fun day.
Randy Rosarina just doubled, and now he's at third, and he'll be stranded there because Jordan Montgomery, another former Cardinal, got out of the inning. So
Go
the
Birds.
Rangers.
Just real quick again, OPS leaders in the history of the postseason.
Yeah.
Number 1, Lou Gehrig. Number 2, Babe Ruth. Number 3, Randy Rosarina.
You know,
Unreal.
You only get that guy in your organization once in a lifetime, so you better hold on to him when you do.
Red Sox lost Babe Ruth. Stuff happens.
100 years before they won again.
MLB, yeah. Oh, boy. Oh, no. Not great. MLB postseason predictions next on 101 ESPN. Well, the MLB postseason is underway. The Rangers currently have a 1-0 lead on the Rays in the top of the fourth down at Tropicana Field. Wild card round starting today. You got another game coming up at 3:30 between Toronto and Minnesota. 6 o'clock tonight, Arizona and Milwaukee.
Mama Rivers is happy.
7 o'clock, Skip Schumacher's Miami Marlins versus the Philadelphia Phillies.
Imagine if you had a guy like Skip.
You did. So, there's that.
When?
Let's do our MLB postseason predictions here in the Fast Lane, where it's 3:04. Your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Your upsets of the postseason, Marsh. Your upsets of the postseason.
You want me to start off?
I want you to start off.
Well, you just mentioned Skip Schumacher and the Miami Marlins. Other than, I believe, the COVID season, the only times that Miami has been in the playoffs, they have been wild cards, and they have won the World Series. I don't think they win the World Series, but I do think they defeat the Phillies.
Really?
And win the wild card round.
Even without Sandy Alcantara and who else are missing? There's another.
Alcantara was terrible this year. Get rid of that guy.
I'm feeling the magic, Anthony.
Second half was excellent.
Shh, quiet.
Okay. Feeling the magic. All right, I like it.
Feeling the magic.
So Miami over Philly.
So that's your upset special?
That's my upset special.
My upset is not as big, and I swear I'm not just doing it because they're up now. But Bruce Bochy, his postseason magic is always on point. Like he is just somebody.
Really an upset though?
It is. I mean, if you're looking at the betting odds.
Yeah, but when I look at the rosters, I don't know if it's an upset.
Tampa's really good. Texas has had a great season, but Texas technically is an underdog in this one. That's my upset.
All right, if that's what you're leaning on, Anthony, that's fine.
Literally going with an underdog. I don't know what else to say.
I'm just messing with you.
What's an upset? I'll take the underdog. That's not an upset.
I don't know if they're an underdog or not, so I could be wrong on this because I didn't check the line. I should have before we got into this segment. I got sideways a little bit.
Your Blue Jays are technically an underdog.
Yeah. I do like that matchup. I do, because the Twins, well, they're going to twin at some point.
I don't think they've won a playoff game since 2004.
They've lost 18 straight postseason games.
If I'm betting, I'll go with the Blue Jays over the Twins. My other one I was looking at that I'm not sure, but I would imagine it's an underdog, is the Diamondbacks over the Brewers.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I mean, they have to be an underdog. The Brewers won the division.
And Woodruff is out.
Yes, he's out.
Yes, Arizona's a heavy dog.
Yeah.
And I don't mind that one. They can run.
That was kind of my first choice, but I hadn't had popped through FanDuel quick enough yet.
Yeah, Arizona. Nice.
I use promo code FAST.
Arizona's absolutely a dog, so.
I could see them upsetting the Brewers.
All right. I like that. You never know with Milwaukee, right? Like, Milwaukee should be the prototypical postseason team. They could pitch. Their bullpen's great, but their offense, while it gets it done in the regular season, last year they're historically bad, and they don't have a ton of pop. Like, you could be a mediocre offense, but if you hit home runs, they'll play in the postseason. The Brewers don't really hit a lot of home runs, but they can pitch. But I kind of like that with Arizona.
By the way, guys, did you see that Kyle Schwarber stat that they had out yesterday? What did he finish batting? 197 or something like that? Was his batting average with 42 home runs and 104 RBIs.
Wow.
200 and some strikeouts, though. So how do you explain that, by the way?
It's unreal.
His batting average under 200.
That's modern day baseball.
But he's absolutely raking at the same time. Anyways, that's way off topic. That was like the shiny nickel squirrel. But anyways.
Good gravy. All right, Marsh, your NLCS matchup.
Yeah, I think the first two rounds will be exciting, but ultimately I have the Braves and the Dodgers in the NLCS. I know it sounds boring, but I do think those teams are the two best teams in the NL. So I'm going to go with them.
Jamie?
I'm trying to be clever and outsmart the whole process, but you really can't. I mean, it's got to be the Braves for sure. And I think it has to be the Dodgers. Like, no matter how I try to justify it, I look at some of the other rosters, I look at the Phillies, look at them, like, the Dodgers are just too deep as a roster.
Yeah, and the Phillies would play Atlanta.
They'd be going,
So you'd almost have to take Philly over Atlanta if you didn't like Atlanta.
Yeah. No, I was just thinking about. I guess what I was trying to say, I was looking for another option other than the Dodgers, and I couldn't find one.
I agree.
So Dodgers, Braves for me.
I got the same one. I had the same process. I like Atlanta too much. Their starting pitching is questionable. You got Charlie Morton who's hurt. You got Max Fried who's hurt. But they can slug with anybody. And you look at Philly. Aaron Nola, for as much as we're talking about, Aaron Nola hasn't had great success this year. The numbers haven't been eye-popping.
His second half has been mid.
Wheeler's been a stud. But then if you get to Taijuan Walker and you get to some of their other starters, I don't mind that matchup. The problem is Philly can hit a home run at any point in their lineup, but Atlanta could do the same thing. And on the other side, I don't like Milwaukee or Arizona to upend the Dodgers.
I think the Phillies would play the Dodgers.
The Phillies would play the Braves, I believe. Well, that would be the second round matchup.
But it would be the lower seed would play the top team, and the Phillies have the best wild card.
You're assuming then that the Diamondbacks beat the Brewers because 6. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait.
Because the Phillies are the top wild card, so they would play the lower seed, which would be the Dodgers.
The Dodgers. Oh, okay. My bad.
So does that change things for you?
Yeah, because I thought the Braves and Phillies would be the matchup there. Because if it's for example,
I still don't think the Phillies beat the Dodgers.
The Brewers are the 3rd seed though, correct? And the Phillies are the 4th seed. So
correct.
If the Brewers won, no, they would go to Atlanta.
Oh, I thought the Phillies.
The Phillies, I believe, are 4. Oh no, so Marsh, you're right.
No, you're right.
If you stick your head up the Brewers.
Right.
You're right. I thought the Phillies were the 3rd seed for some reason. Pardon me.
Yeah,
you
so
guys
it's
have
Milwaukee.
me so confused now. I've had to scratch
That was
out,
the whole point.
Like, what the hell are you doing?
Bottom line, Atlanta.
Stop it.
I got the Dodgers and the Braves. All right, Marsh, your ALCS matchup.
ALCS, I have the Astros. I think I was a toddler the last time that they missed the ALCS. That's a joke, but they've been in it for so long. I feel like they're just going to get back there. And then I have the Rays. I have the Rays taking on the Astros. I like the Orioles, but I like the Rays more.
I'm going to go chalk on this one just because I think both of these rosters are too good. And I'm going Orioles, Astros, and LCS.
This might not work out because of the seeding we were just talking about, but I like Texas versus Houston. I think that AL West is that's been the gauntlet all year. The AL East has been very good, but the AL West with Texas leading for a while, and then Houston caught them, surpassed them. Was Seattle going to make it at one point? Seattle was first place, but then they didn't even make the playoffs. I think they've been center stage in the American League, and I think that's the way it's going to be. So I got Texas and Houston in my ALCS. They also might meet in the second round and completely blow up my bracket, but that's where I'm going. All right, World Series winner for you, Marsh.
I have the Dodgers.
Whoa.
I think this is a year where the Dodgers don't have their best lineup in terms of on paper. I feel like they've had better teams, but for some reason, like you mentioned yesterday, Dave Roberts, for some reason, can get this lineup going, and I think this could be their year.
I've got the Braves. I just think that top to bottom, they are just a powerhouse. They're going to be an absolute nightmare to deal with, no matter what series it is.
Yeah, I was gonna go with Texas and just take my upset pick. But the thing I like about the Braves this season more than in previous seasons, besides the fact that they're a juggernaut, nobody really has top-end pitching. I mean, if you look at this, Houston's pitching has not been great. Not certainly what it has been. The Dodgers are the one team you're like, okay, but they're all young. You know, you got like Bobby Miller, who will be making his postseason debut. Lance Lynn, certainly a veteran. Clayton Kershaw, veteran. But we're talking about guys that there is no Schilling and Johnson. You know, there's no pick your favorite 1-2 combination in postseason history. So this could be, despite Major League Baseball always being about pitching and defense in the postseason, this could be one of those years where the offense is just bang. And who's better than Atlanta? Philly comes close.
What do you think about the Rangers, though?
I think the Rangers...
Like, they got Scherzer, Monty...
So Scherzer's out.
Oh, that's right.
Right, he's hurt, but they've got Montgomery. So I thought about Texas, and that's one of the reasons why I like him, but... John Gray's not pitched well. Eovaldi's not pitched. Like, the second half has not been good for them. It's been Monty. So, that ultimately, I'm going to take the Braves as well. All right, World Series MVP. You might as well go with your guy. You got to.
Olsen.
Right? Yeah.
I'm going with Matt Olson.
If you're going to take the Braves, you might as well go with Matt Olson.
I mean, this guy's been money all year. Now that Acuna guy's pretty good, too. I'm not going to lie.
I'll go with Acuna.
Oh, of course you will.
Marsh, who do you have?
Mookie Betts.
Okay.
Ooh.
All right. So there's predictions that are sure to go wrong. I looked at the White Sox. I thought about them, but apparently they didn't make it.
I looked at the Mets. I thought, man, that 1-2 combination of Verlander and Scherzer, there's no way. Lindor, they got all those guys.
Sure. Yeah, I wrote in White Sox. I said, well, they got the post, they got the pitching. They got Giolito
on the American League.
Well, what about the Cardinals? You get in, you win. If you can get in, anything can happen.
Marsh, nobody picked the Cardinals.
Oh, they're not in it either.
I picked the Yankees. That's right. I picked the Subway Series for the World Series. How's that looking?
Not great.
Not great at all, Anthony.
I have our picks. Anthony, do you remember yours?
White Sox and
I believe
Braves.
I picked the Yankees, didn't I?
No, I thought you picked the Blue Jays.
I picked the Mets.
World Series.
You picked the Cardinals and Blue Jays.
Blue Jays Cards.
Oh, that's right. The Battle of the Birds.
Yeah,
I had Braves Astros.
that could happen.
Cardinals.
Anthony had Dodgers and White Sox.
Half of
I
it
had
could
the
be right.
Cardinals. What the hell's wrong with
Hey,
me?
we all have one team in it. Marsh, you got two. We're not doing too bad.
I still got the Blue Jays.
Yeah.
Let's go.
And I've got the Dodgers, so. Okay. So fade all of our picks that we just gave you. It's the Fast Lane on 101 at ESPN. Are the fringe players in trouble when you look at the Blues here? Some takeaways from last night's game. Next on 101 ESPN. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. So some observations from last night's Blues game here, and then we'll get into which players might be which fringe players might be on the bubble, which would be a good thing for them. But Jamie, let's start off with some of your observations from the preseason matchup last night. So the Blues take on the Blue Jackets. They give up 3 in the first. They lose 5-3, despite the Blues' best efforts to come back in that one. But ultimately, even though it's a preseason matchup, what was your overall takeaway? What was the big one?
A little late to the dance party for the Blues. And look, excuse me, first of all, but I think it happens sometimes. So what some fans don't realize is the team travels the day of the game in the NHL preseason because they don't want to take on the extra expense of a hotel and all that stuff. And it ends up being very disorganized if you have a team that's the day before in a hotel, you have the rest of your team in that city practicing, and then one team, it's a lot. Logistically, it becomes a lot, and financially, for that matter. So this looked like, to me, like a team that traveled day of the game. And the Blues weren't exactly ready to go right away. A couple of mishaps out there. It's preseason hockey. It's what happens. But my overall takeaway was that Jacob Vrana could be one hell of a weapon for the Blues this year. We talked about who's that one-timer guy now that Perron's gone. And we all get focused on that right side, or the left side, I guess, if you're staring at the opponent's net, because that's where David Perron played. Why don't we flip that? Because in years past, it's been Ryan O'Reilly that's working the other half wall. Vrana, that's like his office now. Mm-hmm. He had a couple of, major league snipes last night. That puck comes off the stick hot. He's got the ability to do it. And if that's the case, then your power play, we talked about yesterday or the day before, how that needs to improve. Right there, that helps you immediately. And Torrey Krug looks like he found some chemistry with Vrana. Nice little pass, flat in the sweet spot, short side shelf. Gotta like that. So that was the takeaway I got, is Jacob Vrana could be a game changer for the Blues when it comes to improving their power play out there. What I also looked at from a different standpoint, and there's a couple of people talking about it. Nick Ritchie released from his PTO. At one point, it was believed, and I believed it too, that he was a shoo-in to make this team. And I watched him play with no pace at all out there and no sense of urgency, and changed my mind. But I also saw guys like Walker, McEachern kind of up in their game a little bit. There seems to be a bit of a gap now. You look at last night, and if, for example, your fourth line is Jake Neighbors, Sundqvist, and Toropchenko, where does that leave Mackenzie McEachern, Alexandrov, and Walker? They're the odd guys out.
Yeah.
Now, the team will keep, one of those guys as an extra forward, but who is it? You have 2 guys on one-way contracts. Alexandrov, I believe might have to clear waivers. So if you're one of those guys, you really want to be seizing the moment. And I just don't know if they are continuing to do that. If I had to pick one of the 3, I'd pick Walker. Walker gives me the juice all the time. He's out there. He's nonstop. Energy, effort. He's hitting. He's fighting. The guys love him. He's doing everything he can. And if that's the guy that I have to put out on the fourth line as my bubble guy, I'm happy. Mackenzie McEachern, he's always had the skills, always had the ability. He doesn't have the finishing ability to score a lot of goals, because if he did, he'd have a whole ton, because he gets a lot of opportunities because of his speed and his other skills that he has. He always gets in on the forecheck, does a little bit of damage. I'd like to see him do a little more damage when it comes to the forecheck. And Alexandrov, I'm just not sold. I just don't think he's ready. I just don't know if he's a NHL player. We got a sample size of it last year, and it looked good at times. But you put him head-to-head against some of the guys who are left, you're like, eh.
Yeah. And
he's okay. He's fine.
And young guys like that, they almost have to show that consistent compete.
You have to steal the job, Anthony.
Yeah.
You can't just, they're about the same. No, you have to steal it. Mm-hmm. You have to make it so obvious that they look stupid for not taking you.
Right.
That hasn't happened. So are some of the fringe players at risk? Yes. And I don't understand that. I just don't. As a fringe player myself for many years, and I'm not afraid to admit it. It's fine. I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I always made sure that I beat somebody out at camp. Always. One way or another, they weren't there at the end of camp. I went out and I got I seized the moment and I got the job.
Mm-hmm.
I just look at these guys, I'm like, where are we at here? Like, how bad do you really want to play in the NHL? How bad do you really want to play for the St. Louis Blues? And now last night, I'm not just using last night as the only sample size. I'm looking at it.
Well, you've been to practice.
I've been at the practices, been at
Right.
Everything so far.
Sure.
And again, for me, the guy that stands out above the rest in that fringe group is Nathan Walker.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't see why you would send Jake Neighbors down to the minors. I guess let me retract that. If you're wanting Jake Neighbors to play 15 to 18 to 19 minutes a game, somewhere in there, send him to the minors. He'll play every single situation against all the other team's best players, and he'll continue to develop. If you think that that's not necessary, if you think that Jake Neighbors can compete for a top 9 spot, then you keep him here. And you play him that 9 minutes, 10 minutes a game with Sonny and Torpchenko. Because you know those guys are going to be responsible. All three of them are going to be responsible defensively, and all three of them can bring some physical impact to the game. And if you need to get him out of the lineup or rotate in, Nathan Walker can go in there. They can kind of swap him out. But, if I'm Mackenzie McEachern, I'm seizing the moment here the next couple of games. And if I'm Alexandrov, get out there, man. Give them every reason to doubt not taking you. And I haven't seen that yet. So for me, some of the bubble players or the fringe guys are at risk right now.
So you mentioned the defense. Here's Craig Berube on the play of his defense thus far.
Well, I see a lot more urgency out of them and intensity out there for sure in practice. I think that they've adjusted really well to the new changes we made. And, they're showing the leadership that we need from them. That's what I see.
Yeah, it's been a big difference, I'll tell you that much. When you're watching the practices, the intensity of each day, the way they're going about their business defensively, the way they're committed to taking away the middle of the ice. They're practicing it on a regular basis. The veteran guys are getting after it with each other. This is a team that I know the result last night is not what you wanted, but there's so many things that go into preseason games. It's like the NFL preseason. Do you ever really put any stock into that?
No.
Sometimes you're working on a certain part of your game. Mm-hmm. And if everything else falls apart, it doesn't matter because the one part you're really looking to improve on was better.
Yeah.
And we don't know what that is night in and night out. Last night, it was the Torrey Krug experiment. Is his injury gone? Can he play? Can he do it? Yeah, he was on the ice for a couple of goals against, but I wouldn't pin them as completely his fault. And again, it's preseason. But what I really liked was the power play was clicking. And that's the one thing, probably the number one thing you signed Torrey Krug for is his ability to run a power play.
Yeah.
So when I look overall right now, I love the attitude of the team. I think the energy is positive. I think the work ethic has been through the roof. I think the team is in great hands with their leadership group. I think Braden Shen has done a fantastic job of establishing, what the criteria is, what the level is going to be. Justin Falk has been right there with him. So I'm very optimistic at this point.
That's Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. We do have the Blues and Stars pregame for you, 6 o'clock in a couple of nights here. So that's the October 5th matchup, the Blues and the Stars, 6 o'clock right here on 101 at ESPN. Marsh played some audio for us in the office before the show and said, look, Cardinals fans aren't alone. We'll tell you, we'll let you hear that audio and maybe there's some similarities there between this frustrated fan in this city versus the Cardinals fans. It's next on 101 ESPN.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. Postseason baseball starts today. The Cards not in the postseason for the first time since 2018. Today, the wild card round has Texas taking on Tampa Bay, Toronto going up against Minnesota, Arizona against Milwaukee, and Miami going up against Philly. Right now, the Texas Rangers are leading the Tampa Bay Rays by a score of 2-0 as former Cardinal Jordan Montgomery is on the mound. Last night, preseason action between the Blues and the Columbus Blue Jackets. The Blues lost by a final score of 5-3. They are back at it on Thursday as they take on the Dallas Stars. Pregame starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7. You can catch all the action right here on 101 ESPN. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Jamie Rivers and our guy Andrew Marsh. I'm Anthony Stalter. By the way, the Rays just flew out to the warning track, so it's still 2-0 Rangers over the Rays. Jordan Montgomery, former Cardinal, pitching outstanding. He also made a great play on a bunt attempt that
big country
popped up. He got off the mound quickly, wound up doing a little backhand dive, and saved a potential run on that play, if not more, had he not made the play. Yeah.
Do you like seeing bunting in postseason play?
Absolutely, Marsh. Anything
too.
to get it done. Get the damn thing down, though.
That's true.
Don't pop it up in the air. Yeah. All right, it's Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Speaking of non-postseason play, as Marsh just mentioned, the Cardinals out of the postseason for the first time since 2018. Marsh played us some audio today from a fan in a different market, Brock and Salk. This was the Brock and Salk earlier today.
Is that a radio show?
Yes, in Seattle.
Oh.
Listen to what this fan had to say, and then ask yourself, does this sound like me at all? Go ahead, Marsh.
Let's go to Mark in Maple Valley.
Hey, this isn't going to be popular, but I'm going to speak the truth. The problem with the Mariners is the fans, and here's why. John Stanton dangles fireworks and bobbleheads in front of their faces and runs the team like it's the Oakland Athletics instead of one of the most profitable teams in Major League Baseball, and tells you to your face they're going to challenge for a World Series, and throws out a lineup that has Caballero, Sam Haggerty, Dylan Moore, and Mike Ford at the bottom of the order, a bunch of scrap heap guys, and tells you that we're challenging for a World Series. And yet we come out in droves because we get to go with our families on a sunny day and watch fireworks and bobbleheads and draw over 3 million people a year. And this guy's sitting there with a cigar thinking we're the biggest idiots in the world. If we were in Philly or New York, this wouldn't even be acceptable. But we do it every year. And then we go, oh, we got to love these guys because they almost made it to the playoffs. Are you out of your mind? It's unacceptable. But yet 3 million people come in summer here. It's a joke. And until someone holds this guy accountable and tells Jerry Dipoto to take his analytic nerd and get the hell out of Seattle and get a guy who can hit 40 bombs that plays first base or right field or left field, maybe we'll make the playoffs. Thank you.
Well done. So obviously he's a Mariners fan. Yeah, obviously a Mariners fan who has more reason to be frustrated than us in St. Louis, just because Seattle has not had much postseason success, as we know. Last year they did make it out of the first round, but then wound up losing. I mean, there's a lot of similarities there. The frustrations.
Well, the 3 million fans.
The 3 million fans.
When Marshy played it for me, it took me a while to figure out it was a Seattle fan.
Yeah, if you just took out, like, if you bleeped the names, so the names of the players, the names of the ownership group, and the names of the GM, you could make the case that it's the Cardinals. There's like a lot of the same frustration. Yeah, it's a lot of the same frustration. And the question is, is it right? Is it worthy of complaining? Yeah, I think so. Because in the other markets, he had mentioned Philadelphia, he mentioned New York. In those markets, they're so rough that the expectations are, don't be terrible. We're going to show up because we're diehard fans, and there's no expectation on the other side that you just like it. I think when it comes to like the Midwest here, you almost get this sense of the team's like, hey, we've been in the playoffs for a while. You should cheer us on. Yeah, just trust us. Even in other markets, I'm not even just talking about St. Louis. You've been in Detroit.
Yeah, but we did nothing but win.
Red Wings are a bad example, but
it wasn't because of me. Trust me, I was good in the locker room, and that's usually where they left me.
There you go. But the market.
Yes.
And I'm sure Seattle. I've never been to Seattle. I don't know what the market is there, but I'm sure
it's beautiful.
I'm sure it's the same.
Though. The fish market's fantastic.
A lot of Starbucks, I'm sure.
They're throwing fish all over the place.
Are they?
Yeah, they do. They launch it from one side to the other. If you pick a fish, they grab it, launch it over the other guy. He wraps it up in the paper, and
nice.
It's pretty cool.
It is cool.
Yep.
But when they're good, when the Mariners are good, it's almost like, hey, pat us on the back. Even though there's just some things that are going on, we were like, you didn't go all in. You didn't go for it.
True.
You didn't put the pedal down. Hell, San Diego, the Padres, who stunk this year, did not make the playoffs. They put the pedal all the way down. That's not a market that's sustainable. It's not good.
See?
Might be a bad example.
Anthony, what'd they do?
Yeah, not great.
See?
But I like some of the things that this caller was saying. I like some.
That's what some of the ownership would be saying is
sure.
Yeah, these guys grossly overspent. Both of these teams and some of the other teams, the Yankees, some of the other teams at the big old payrolls. How'd that work out? It didn't.
No, but Atlanta pays their guys. The Dodgers pay their guys. Right. It works on both sides.
It does. It wasn't a one-sided conversation, Anthony. It's not like I'm trying to pick a fight with you.
No, fair enough.
What the hell's your problem?
A lot. I don't know. You got time?
Not enough.
We were talking about this in the office, but I brought up because the listener had brought up analytics, and one of the questions that I had was if you're going to be an analytical-driven team, because that seems like how the game is going now. Every team. They love analytics and whatnot, but just how important is it to be actually good at analytics?
Right.
I feel like that's the difference.
It's a very simple but well-made point, Marsh. You're absolutely right. Hey, we've got an analytic department just like everybody else. What do you get from it?
But I guess the biggest question, and it's literally piggybacking off of, I believe what you're thinking is, does your analytics team actually pick the right analytics that matter?
Exactly.
Because if they don't, and you're all about something, whatever it is, we're all about OBP, you know me.
Yeah.
And
really? Because nobody can get on base from your team.
Correct. Exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So you may want to pick a different analytic and build your team around, I don't know, that one.
Yeah.
We got a text from the 636, a few texts from the Air Comfort Service text line from the 636. OMG, best mic drop ever, and it wasn't even ours.
No.
No, we can't even claim it.
No.
Although we will.
It is good, though.
We got one from the 636. I love that guy, and that is applicable here for sure.
Yep.
And another one from the 636. I missed the majority of that, but I definitely thought it was a Cardinals fan.
It could be.
Good find there, Marsh. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. We got our Sports Six-Pack next, so if you got a question for us, 314-399-9646. That's the Air Comfort Service text line. Or if you want to leave us one via our YouTube channel at 101 ESPN STL, as the Air Alliance team studio cam on YouTube, you can leave us a text message there, too. We got our Sports Six-Pack next.
time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six-Pack is refreshed by Maggie O'Brien's, your go-to Irish pub in St. Louis for over 42 years.
A Corey Seager 2-run single got the Rangers another 2 runs, so they're now up 4-0 on the Rays heading into the bottom of the 6th. Tyler Glass now is out of the game. He was in and out of trouble virtually from the start. I mean, the Rangers have had runners on base. It could very easily be 10-0 at this point, given the amount of runners that the Rangers have left in scoring position. But nonetheless, 4-0, and the Rays are coming to bat in the bottom of the 6th. The other game, the other American League wildcard game is starting. It already started. You got the Blue Jays and the Twins going at Target Field. Time for the Sports Six-Pack. What do you got, Marsh?
All right, from the 636, what do you guys think is the best recreational sport? Slow pitch softball, indoor soccer, flag football, or roller hockey?
I like softball. I think that's a fun one because you can get a bunch of dudes or even co-ed teams together where you go play a weekend tournament at the cooler.
Tournaments are fun.
Cooler full of beer, not taking it too seriously, and I don't know. I like that. That to me is kind of fun.
I think there's not much that beats in terms of like recreational stuff. Then not much beats tournament softball. Like if you get a weekend, maybe you got to travel a little bit. Like you said, you get some buddies, and you're just playing nonstop. That's a lot of fun. The other one I really like is flag football. But the last time I played, I realized that's a young man's game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you got to have the wheels going there. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's why I was like, Now, I do like sand volleyball is kind of fun.
Yeah.
My daughter played on a team this last spring.
That you played on, right?
And they needed they signed up not knowing that they signed up in an adult league. And her and her 14 and 15-year-old friends are out there playing. No, they're doing a pretty good job. They're good. They're athletes, right?
Sure.
But then when there were a couple of girls that couldn't make it, there were conflict with either soccer or travel. So they could sub in a parent at that time. Because it was an adult league. Yeah. So I got to sub in a couple of times, and I may or may not have taken it a little too seriously at times. I may or may not have been
expect anything less.
Fokker and smashing the ball down.
It's awesome.
But I enjoyed it, man. It was fun. I was like, hey, girls, let's go. Pick it up here.
Come on.
My daughter's like, you're being a little too extra. I'm like, well, you're not being extra enough.
Yeah. Come on.
Let's go.
Got a game to win tonight.
Have you guys ever played Ultimate Frisbee?
No.
I love that
I'm sure that's a lot of fun.
Very fun.
People talk about it all the time. They like it. A cornhole, that wouldn't consider. Would it be a recreation?
I wouldn't consider that
yard game.
Yeah,
I know it's on ESPN, the Ocho here and there, but
I wouldn't consider that
golf. Beyond that, I don't think golf.
No, golf would be like an actual sport.
People would consider it a hobby too, because nothing beats a good best ball tournament either. You just get up there and
it's fun,
whack away, and drink some beers and have some fun.
Sure.
All right, from the 636, do you think the Cards will have to rely on trades because they got outspent again?
Probably.
I don't necessarily worry about the outspending as much as I do them not stacking up to some of these other teams for other reasons. You may get somebody that wants to be on the coast. You might get somebody that wants to be in a big market. You might get somebody that wants to play on a team that was just in the playoffs and had a deep run. Unfortunately, you were not. I don't necessarily think it's going to be the money that causes the Cardinals to miss out on some of these players. It's going to be them choosing other teams, and therefore the trade market might wind up being more beneficial than free agency.
I think the Cardinals end up spending money on one guy. I think they go for two. I think that the whole Aaron Nola, Sonny Gray thing sounds like a great rumor, a great opportunity. I don't think that both guys want to be Cardinals. I don't know if they'll have enough money to get both guys or be willing to spend it. Let me phrase that differently. So I think that there's one that's acquired that way and one via trade.
Do you think if they are going to try and land Nola and Sonny Gray, do they have to get Nola first in order to then entice a guy like Sonny Gray, or let's say it's another pitcher, to come to St. Louis?
I don't know. It depends on the player. Sonny Gray may not care what the Cardinals do. He may just fall in love with St. Louis, or I don't know.
Sonny Gray might think he's the number one.
Yeah, right. There might be some guys that say, like Nolan Arenado. He did not want to go to he didn't want to go from the Rockies to another bad team. He wanted to go to a team that was going to, be competitive each and every year, which is probably why he'll be traded this offseason, because he wants out.
Wow. Ooh, wow.
Is that too much of a jump?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
I like it.
Yeah.
From the 618, how soon until the NFL starts flexing the Giants' primetime games? They've been on 3 of the first 4 and have 3 more.
I saw a stat that made Kirk Cousins look like Mr. Primetime himself.
Probably the one that Marsh read to me before the show.
12-1 or something?
1-12.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yep.
1-12 in primetime games for Danny Dimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the league will flex as much as they possibly can to get the Giants a new schedule.
This is terrible. This is the problem that the NFL runs into. They're taking it. They're basing the primetime schedule off of last year's results. A lot of times you're okay, or you go with the storylines. So the Chiefs just played the Jets. Why? Because you thought it was going to be Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes. You had the Bills and the Jets. The first Monday Night Football game. Everybody tunes in. And he rolls up his Achilles in 4 plays. So that you're kind of snake bitten by that. But the Giants, those 2 playoff teams from a year ago. Last night was a disaster. The offensive line for the Giants is terrible. Daniel Jones is terrible. That was awful football.
It was bad. That offensive line should be ashamed of themselves. Should be ashamed of themselves. I wouldn't even be able to look myself in the mirror. Some of those plays that I saw last night, Anthony, it's almost like they didn't like Daniel Jones. And there was a couple where guys were lined up in proper coverage and then just outright missed their guy, let him go. I'm not saying they let him go, but it wasn't such a strong move from the defensive guy to where there shouldn't have been any interference. Like Daniel Jones would be drop back 2 steps and the guy's in his kitchen.
Right. Bobby Wagner is an outstanding, he has had an incredible career. At this stage in his career, though, he should not be able to beat a guard one-on-one as if that guard was acting like a turnstile at your favorite mall. That was pathetic the way that offensive line tried to protect Jones. And Jones was bad too. It was both things are right. Both things were accurate. The line stunk, and then when Jones did get a little bit of time, he dotted Devon Witherspoon of Illinois.
Did he ever?
I'm on Twitter and with Vikings Twitter because it comes to my feed.
Oh, boy.
And people are saying that they feel bad that Ed Donatel not only hurt the Vikings last year in the playoffs, but also hurt the Giants organization by making everybody thinking that Daniel Jones was actually good.
That's really funny.
Well, that stinks. From the 330, how soon will we know what we have with the Blues? How many games last year? How many games last year we started off? We all thought we were winning the Stanley Cup, and after the first 3, then we were trash. What's a fair reason?
If you're looking for a block of games that kind of give you a pretty fair evaluation, it's probably the 20-game mark, 25 games. Last year was certainly an interesting start to the season. The Blues rung off a couple of victories, and then they rung off a couple of just awful losing streaks.
Yeah.
So that really kind of put them in a bind to start the season. But usually 20 to 25 games. For me, you get a pretty good idea of what you have. You'll see what you have health-wise. You'll see what you have depth-wise, scoring-wise. Everybody's had plenty of opportunity to play, to get their chance on a power play or a penalty kill. Your goaltenders are in it.
Yeah.
Hofer will have had enough starts at that point. For me, that's the window. We'll see what we've got after that.
Yeah, I trust that evaluation. And then, of course, it's always moving, though. It's a moving target because you have injuries and
totally.
In 2019, we always go back to the 2019 example where you thought you knew what you had. And it turns out you had something much greater.
Turns out you had what you thought you had, but you doubted for a while.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding.
From the 314, guys, wouldn't it be easier, instead of asking Wilson Contreras to play left field, to just ask him to work with Yadier Molina in the offseason on his defensive catching skills? And do you think both would be willing to work with each other, especially if Yadier Molina says he cares about the organization?
I think Contreras would jump at the opportunity to work with Yadi. I don't think Yadi's interested. Yeah, not that Yadi's a bad guy. He's had a career. He's done. If he was interested, he would have already voiced, some kind of opinion on, like, I'd love to be a part of the Cardinals organization. I'd love to help. He has not, to my knowledge, anyways. And I don't know if Yadi's that kind of guy. He was a very much a look what I do type catcher, from what I understand, and talking to former players that I know that played with Yadi, even a long time ago, said Yadi was very much like good leader, solid leader, did his thing and dragged guys, but that was kind of it. Like, he wasn't there to really be a coach or even a mentor at times, kind of laid out the map. Here's what it looks like. If you can do this, great. If not, well, I'll do it.
Yeah.
So I just don't know if Yadi'd be willing to do it. I go back to my statement I said a long time ago after having him on this show. I would call Mike Matheny. I would call him in a heartbeat and offer him the job as catching consultant, or even a greater title, but his job is catching consultant. The way he broke down the catching position and what it takes and how you operate and how you take care of your pitchers and how you go into each game with your preparation, all the way back to how he prepped Yadi. I'm not saying he gave all of the answers to Yadi, but he was certainly a mentor for Yadi and handed the baton off to Yadi. Mike Matheny would be my guy as a catching consultant that I would bring in. What have you got to lose, first of all? Second of all, the guy was a damn good defensive catcher, too, in this league.
You've already invested $84 million. Do you want to protect that investment? I think it's a great idea, Jamie. I have no idea if Mike Matheny would be willing to do so. And it is a bit unconventional, but so what? You just signed a catcher for all that money and are now acting as though they can't catch, and he can't do it for you. So why wouldn't you reinvest in that before you say, hey, he's now left field or whatever? Why don't you go ahead and say, all right, let's see if this former great defensive catcher can get something out of him, again, if he's willing. We've got the Gauntlet coming up next on 101 ESPN.
You're looking to upgrade your kitchen or your bathroom, whether it's cabinets, countertops, you name it. My friends over at E&B Granite, they have got you covered. They've been servicing the St. Louis area with exceptional customer service and incredible products for over 20 years now. And I'm one of those customers. I've talked about my experience before, was looking to upgrade the kitchen countertops at my house, and I didn't really know what I was looking for. I just knew I wanted to change. Walked into E&B Granite, right down there at 6135 Manchester Avenue, and talked to the sales representative and said, look, this is what I'm trying to do. I want to upgrade. She was fantastic. She gave me great ideas and then took me in the back of the warehouse where they keep all of the slabs for the countertops, and there was granite, quartz, marble, even soapstone countertops back there. I ended up choosing a quartz countertop. It's beautiful to look at, and the process was awesome. They get in there, they measured everything precisely. They take out everything that you have in there before, and they do so without damaging anything. And then they install it, and it looks incredible. And then they even tell you about how to maintain the countertops, what's good to wash it with or clean it with, what to stay away from. Unbelievable customer service from the start to the very end, and you deserve that same service. So please give them a call. Tell them that Jamie Rivers sent you in. That number is 314-645-9300. That's 314-645-9300, or go visit them at enbgranite.com.
categories, one challenger. Can you master the gauntlet?
Brought to you by Master, your hometown source for business communications for more than 30 years. Visit masstour.com.
4:04, your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler, with Jamie Rivers and Andrew Marsh. I'm Anthony Stalter, and time to play the gauntlet. We have Sean as our latest contestant. What's up, Sean?
How you guys doing today?
We're doing great. How about yourself?
Hey, doing pretty well.
Good man. First time in the gauntlet?
First time, right? Listen all the time, but first time actually playing.
Well, how do you normally do?
It's hit or miss. I think Marshy probably might have still taken me down yesterday, but I think I would have hung with it yesterday.
Okay, all right.
We go.
Good. I like that. Speaking of Marsh, would you like to take on Marsh, Jamie, or me today?
Marshy was like the Seattle D line against Daniel Jones yesterday, so I'm going to let him cool off a bit. The hockey boys really want me to go after Jamie, but I think I'm going to take on you, Anthony.
Okay, all right, fair enough, Sean. The hockey boys may still get hockey here, knowing the wheel and me. Yeah,
exactly. That was my worry.
Yeah, you spins hockey and then you get Jamie. It's still going to spin hockey and get me, so it's a good choice, Sean. Good luck, man. See ya.
We're on the same page then. Thank you.
There you go.
All right, Anthony's got the headphones out. He's headed off to see our guy Mike Ryder in the Cone of Silence. All right, Sean, what I need you to do right now is tell Marshy to spin the wheel.
All right, Marshy, let's spin that wheel.
All right, so what would be your favorite category, Sean?
I'll go hockey or baseball.
Okay, what's the one you don't want?
Well, with Anthony, I definitely don't want football, so go ahead and tell me it's football now.
Okay, well, I'm not going to tell you it's football. I'm also not going to tell you it's hockey or baseball because you got random today.
Random, all right.
So this is really the wild card. All right, Marshy's going to give questions here, and just to go over it real quick, although I'm sure you know the rules, but maybe somebody listening doesn't. Each question is worth 2 points. That's if you don't use the options. If you do use the options and answer correctly, it's worth 1 point. Of course, you get it wrong, you get 0 points. Sean, are you ready to rock?
Let's rock and roll.
Okay, here we go. Again, the category is random question number 1. What is the loudest animal in the world?
Ooh, loudest animal in the world. This is going to be some off-the-mark thing that I would never guess. I'll go ahead and take the options.
All right. Is it the elephant, the sperm whale, or the blue whale?
Let's go with the sperm whale.
Final answer?
Final answer.
All right.
Question number 2. What is the scientific term for a person or animal with different colored eyes?
Oh, I should know this. I'll know with the options, so let's go with options again.
Good luck, Marshy.
Yep. Options are heterochromia, amblyopia. I think I said that correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Or
ophthalmologia.
Ophthalmologia.
I'll help you out.
All right.
Heterochromia, the first one. Final answer.
All righty.
All right. Question number 3. Who is the host of the TV game show Let's Make a Deal?
That is Wayne Brady. Final answer.
And question number 4. Back in May, which horse that had a 15-1 before the race won the Kentucky Derby? I'm assuming it's 15-1 odds before the race, won the Kentucky Derby. So which horse?
Oh, I'll know it with the answers again. Let's take the options.
Options are Disarm, Mage, or Two Fills.
Mage. Final answer.
All right, Sean. All right. Let's get our guy Anthony in here. While he makes his way in here, how are you feeling about this?
It's random, so I'm feeling pretty random.
Well done. Well played, for sure. All right. Anthony's sauntering in here. He looks like he's got his business brain on.
Let's do it.
Let's hope so. All right, Anthony, here, plug your ears back in there. How's Cone of Silence today?
It was good. I had a good conversation with our guy, Mike Ryder.
What's the topic of conversation today?
His personal life.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, let's get it out on the air. How's that going?
Well, a lot of good things going on for Mike Ryder these days. Yeah.
Name one.
He's moving.
Closed on a house, baby.
Yeah.
See why you shy about it? Mike
I didn't know if he didn't want that out. I have no idea.
You celebrate this stuff.
Maybe he was going to tell his parents tonight. Now they already know.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
We really let the cat out of the bag.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Mike Ryder. It's a wonderful thing. I don't know why Anthony's not happy for you.
Okay. Oh, that hurt. That Mike just said his parents don't listen. That's
what the?
Boy,
Here I am sticking up for you, and you just sewer me.
Hurts.
My parents hate your show stuff. All right.
My parents think your show stinks.
Anthony, pack a lunch, okay? I'm sick of this already.
All right.
Okay, your category today, random.
Okay, good. I want random.
Yes, you do. Question number 1. What is the loudest animal in the world?
The loudest?
The loudest.
I mean, lions are pretty loud. The roar is pretty loud. I feel like hippos would be loud. I feel like a whale would be loud. I feel like I should probably go with the options. Can I have the options, please?
You sure can, Anthony. Is it an elephant, a sperm whale, or a blue whale?
Oh, great. I'm going to eliminate elephant. A sperm whale or a what whale?
A blue whale.
Sperm whale or blue whale? I think this. Let's go with the sperm whale. Final answer.
Figured you would.
Yeah.
Question number 2. What is the scientific term for a person or animal with different colored eyes?
Like Max Scherzer?
Yeah, well done.
I have no idea.
All right.
But maybe the options will help. Can I have those, please?
Lovely. Heterochromia, amblyopia, or
ophthalmalgia.
Ophthalmalgia.
Okay. I'm pretty sure it's that first one. The what is it?
Heterochromia.
Yes. I think the chromia has something to do with eyes.
Is that your final
answer? The heterochromia, please.
All right.
Okay.
Question number 3. Who is the host of the TV game show Let's Make a Deal?
Wayne Brady. Final answer.
Question number 4. Back in May, which horse that had 15-1 odds before the race won the Kentucky Derby?
I can't remember, but if you say the options, I should be able to get it. Can I have the options, please?
Options are Disarm, Mage, 2 Fills.
I think it was Disarm. Final answer.
Okay, let's go over these. Let's start from the top. What is the loudest animal in the world? Sean, you said the sperm whale.
Naturally.
Anthony, you also said the sperm whale.
Yeah.
Answer is.
Well, like Anthony said, naturally, it is the sperm whale.
And rightfully so.
Way to go, Sean.
But
no,
both these use the options. 1-1 after that one.
You got me on that.
Question 2. Marshy's favorite. What is the scientific term for a person or animal with different colored eyes? Sean, you said heterochromia.
Whoa.
Anthony, you said heterochromia.
Yeah.
Answer is.
It's the only one that I could say correctly. Heterochromia.
All right.
But neither of you answered it without the options.
I was almost going to be like, I did use the options.
So we're 2-2 after 2. Question 3. Who is the host of the TV game show Let's Make a Deal? Sean, you said Wayne Brady. Anthony, you also said Wayne Brady. Answer is?
It is Wayne Brady.
And neither of you used the options.
Holy smokes.
4-4.
You got a barn burner here.
Yeah, no kidding.
We are all tied up.
We got a shootout.
Yep. Last question of the day. Question 4. Back in May, which horse that had 15-1 odds before the race won the Kentucky Derby? Sean, you took the options. You said Mage. Anthony, you took the options. You said disarm. If Anthony's correct, he wins. If Sean is correct, he wins. If it's two Phils, we got a walk-off. Answer is...
It's Mage!
Oh,
Sean! Wow, nice job, Sean. Got every single one of them right. Nice.
I had to, because the only reason I got called in was because I texted you guys after not losing since September, yesterday when you said that. I was like, I'll take that challenge.
You did. You won, man. Nice job.
Well, thank you guys.
Nice job, Sean.
me.
Good job, buddy. We'll get you back here tomorrow, and you'll have Andrew or myself to deal with.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
All right,
Nice
buddy.
job,
Great
Sean.
job, man. Have a good evening.
Good job, Sean.
Hey, you too, guys.
Way to go, Anthony.
Yep.
Excellent.
Mary blew it.
We had a streak.
Yep, we did.
It's just disappointing.
Yeah. I mean, it was a good effort.
Especially on the horse racing one. I figured you were a lock for that.
Where did disarm finish?
Not first. That's all that matters.
For some reason, I thought it was disarm. Obviously, I was wrong.
Yeah,
Mage. I would have had Mage third there. But
Yeah, two Phils for me, because I remember BT when we were doing that one FanDuel.
he mentioned
He's like, two Phils, too. And I was like, it's stuck in my head, even though I don't even know. But I would have said, I recognize that.
yeah.
I was really hoping we'd get to the tiebreaker.
Oh, my goodness.
Based on the question.
Yeah.
Go. You might
Do
as
we
well
want
read
to play it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's play this through. What year was the Constitution signed?
Oh,
Come on, Mr. America.
1872.
Well, Anthony, you're only about 100 years off. 1887.
1887.
Yeah.
No, 1787.
1787. Yeah, I was about to say, I did say so.
I would have said 1776.
Wow.
I mean, you would have been close.
I would have been closer.
Yeah. I see where your head's at.
Yeah, exactly. And don't worry about it. I'm Canadian. So you're fine, Anthony.
Obviously, I'm not. NHL Central Division preview. We're going to break down the Jets next on 101 ESPN. $750 new and pre-owned vehicles all in one location. That's what Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum can offer you. So when you head out to Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum, you tell them Stalter sent you. It's right off Highway 55 in McNutt. We just did a live broadcast there last Friday. Saw how great the building is. A lot of people stopped in to say hello. Why don't you stop out there and get your next new ride? You don't have to go around several different spots or, wait for a car to be shipped in from someplace else and wait just to test drive. You can head down to Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum and test drive your next new car, truck, crossover, SUV, whatever you're looking for. They've got it. Check them out online. You'll also see that they got a 30-day return promise within 30 days. You can bring the vehicle back for any reason. They'll give you the refund. But you're probably going to love it because at Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum, they've got great prices. They've got outstanding financing options for everyone. They give you the complimentary lifetime warranty as well on new Nissans. You're going to love it out there. It's Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum. going team by team, breaking down the NHL Central Division opponents and how they stack up to your St. Louis Blues, and we have reached the Winnipeg Jets. Jamie, what do we need to know about the Winnipeg Jets ahead of this season?
Well, the Winnipeg Jets always seem to put together a pretty hardworking group of players. Last year, just like the Blues, it did not go according to plan for the Winnipeg Jets. They finished in fourth place with 95 points. You'd think that would be a successful season, but it wasn't, and they moved some pieces in the offseason. They've had some leadership changes go on there. They got a new captain. They still have one of the best goalies in the NHL, and Connor Hellebuck. A lot of people speculate that he'd be on the move because he's got 1 year left on his deal. And he has made it kind of clear that he may not stay in Winnipeg following this season. So we'll see how that works out for the Jets when it comes to their goaltending situation. But they've got a pretty good roster. They've got a Winnipeg Jets roster. And what I mean by that is they still have Kyle Connor, who was, one of their top scorers last year. In fact, he was their top scorer with 80 points. They got a fantastic defenseman in Josh Morrissey, who kind of, evolved out of nowhere, really. And he had himself a 76-point season. Of course, they have Mark Scheifele. He had 68 points. They've moved on from Pierre-Luc Dubois. They got Nino Niederreiter. So they've got a pretty solid-ish group of forward guys. I don't think that their depth matches the Blues overall. But nonetheless, it's always a hardworking group. Like Adam Lowry is their captain now. He's a big physical guy, plays the game old school style. He's a lot like a Braden Shen. He'll take care of business if needs to be. He'll be on the power play. He's out there in important situations. From what I gather, he's a pretty solid dude that has a lot of respect in that locker room, obviously, since they gave him the C. But we'll see, how that works. Now, on defense is where things can get kind of derailed here for the Winnipeg Jets. They got an okay top four. Again, we go back to Josh Morrissey, who, as an offensive defenseman, had himself a fantastic season. Then you got Nate Schmidt. I think we remember Nate Schmidt from being with the Vegas Golden Knights their inaugural season. That was kind of his breakout moment as a player, to where he put himself on the map. He's bounced around a little bit since then. Finds himself in Winnipeg now. He's probably their second best defenseman. Neil Pionk is another guy that's a 3-4 defenseman. And then Brendan Dillon, who's probably a 5-6 defenseman. He'll more than likely play in the top four this year coming up. But nothing to write home about as far as their defensive core is concerned. We go to the goaltender position. Again, you have Connor Hellebuck, who he's been one of the best goalies in the NHL for a number of years now. And they got Laurent Brossoit, who found himself, he was a Vegas guy last year. He got injured in the playoffs. He was one of the many goaltenders that the Vegas Golden Knights used last year. But nonetheless, when he was called upon, played very well and was an integral part of that team winning the cup. All of those goalies had to be, because none of them fumbled the ball. They all stood tall in the net and did a good job. Might be the really good defensive core that helped that out too. But either way, a pretty solid goaltending tandem for the Winnipeg Jets. So when you look at these positions overall, I think the Blues have better depth up front. I think that they have better depth on the blue line. I do feel like the Jets probably right now have the better depth in between the pipes, just because Connor Hellebuck is kind of the differentiator there, and Brossoit is more of a proven commodity than Joel Hofer is at the moment.
Okay, so you kind of broke things down here from the Blues' perspective.
Yeah.
Forwards, defense, goaltending, special teams. The Jets lost in the first round to the Golden Knights.
Uh-huh.
Do you think that was a situation where you look at that team and say there's something to build on, or they're just kind of that team that's flat? They're probably not going to be much better or much worse than what they were a year ago.
I don't think they're a playoff team this year moving forward. I just don't think they're a playoff team. I think that I feel like they got worse in the offseason. And rather than getting better, they didn't really go out and make a big, massive signing free agent-wise. And I think that they kind of stayed stagnant. Whereas I feel like the Predators, they made some big moves to get rid of some of their non-culture guys. They brought in Ryan O'Reilly. Ryan O'Reilly's talking about how this team is going to be much better than people give it credit for. I don't doubt it. Barry Trotz has always been able to put together good teams as a head coach.
Yeah.
This is his first go-around as a GM, but Barry Trotz knows exactly what kind of player he wants, and Andrew Burnett's a hell of a coach. So I think that we're going to have to keep the Nashville Predators, as much as I don't want them to be successful, you got to keep them in mind that this team could be better than what we anticipated. I believe the St. Louis Blues are going to be better than what they were last year, and if that's the case, then the Jets are in tough, because they were the last team to make it in the Central Division last year, and that's because some teams just had really bad seasons, the Blues being one of those teams. So when I look at these two teams overall, right now, as it sits, of course, we haven't played a regular season game yet, I feel like the Winnipeg Jets are on the outside looking in. I don't think they did enough in the offseason to move the needle.
There is your NHL Central Division preview of the Winnipeg Jets. We'll have Joey Vitale join us at the bottom of the hour, so he'll join us at, well, not bottom of the hour, 4:45, technically, is when Joe will join us. We're going to play Are You Sold next in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Major League Baseball's postseason is underway. It's the first time the Cards have not been in the postseason since 2018. The wild card round is happening right now. Texas currently leads Tampa Bay 4-0, and Minnesota leads Toronto 2-0. The other games are the Diamondbacks going up against the Brewers and the Marlins taking on the Phillies. Preseason action last night between the Blues and the Columbus Blue Jackets. The Blue Jackets defeated the Blues by a final score of 5-3. The Blues will be back in action on Thursday, taking on the Stars. Pregame starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7. You can catch all the action right here on 101 ESPN. We are playing Are You Sold coming up next. If you have one to send in to the Air Comfort Service text line, send it our way. 314-399-9646 is the number. Are You Sold coming up next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff. Find new roads and shop 24/7 at londoff.com and londoffautoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
Joey Vitale coming up in about 15 minutes. We'll talk a little Blues hockey with Joe, but for right now we have Are You Sold? What do you got, Marsh?
All right, guys. Are you sold on Daniel Jones playing out his contract with the New York Football Giants?
What?
No.
So what is he guaranteed? Is it $130 million, or was that the contract and he only guaranteed a portion? Like what's his guarantee?
Well, Jamie, let's look this up, shall we?
What's his cap hit over the next few years? Like, how bad is it?
So the cap hit right now, 2023, the cap hit. Oh, boy. Yeah, he's going to play the rest of his. The dead cap money in 2025 is 20. It drops from 69 million to 22 million.
Wow.
So they got a potential out. 2025, 2 years, 82 million, 22 in dead cap. He'll play this year and next year, and then that's it.
Then they'll cut him. It's unbelievable. I understand that the Giants, I understand they drafted him, and then they really didn't have any other quarterback and kind of felt the need. I don't think I would have done it. I think I would have rather try to stay above water with a fill-in, like a Baker Mayfield or like one of those guys, while you're waiting for the next guy. I don't understand the strategy.
Yeah.
From day one, I didn't get it. I think Daniel Jones, based on the offensive package that was put together, was it last year by Brian Dable, was the benefactor, made him look a lot better than what he really is. But fault to the Giants for, picking him as high as they did, and now not putting an offensive line in front of him.
Yeah,
like,
it's a disaster.
I don't care who your quarterback is. When they go, hut, pause, boom, hit. Like, what the hell? Who the hell's going to do anything?
Right. Yeah, we could talk about him not having a feel in the pocket. Yeah, that's the truth. That's the case on some plays. We could talk about him throwing the interceptions and all that. When you don't have time to even get to your third step, let alone your fifth or seventh.
Anthony,
that tells you everything you know.
He wasn't even getting set.
No.
He was still in drop back motion, and he was like just swarmed.
And he either had a guy in his face or a guy all over his back.
That's a good feeling.
Disaster. Yeah. So, no, you will not see the end of his contract.
Guys, Jordan Montgomery went 7 scoreless innings from a 6.18. Are you sold that the Cards should not consider Montgomery as a free agent?
Nobody's saying that. No, I'm not sold that they shouldn't be. They should be in on Jordan Montgomery. Everybody would be in on Jordan Montgomery. I think that we're to the point now where, and it's going to be even worse after today's performance because he pitched well. But we're to the point now, Jamie, where this notion of, well, why don't you just Why has nobody talked about bringing back Jordan Montgomery? We have to, and I'm not even this text. This is not the case. I'm not isolating this text message. That
don't project onto this.
I'm not projecting.
Okay,
I'm taking this opportunity, thanks to the text, to jump off here. Like, we have talked about it. I've been wrong on so much.
True.
The moment that Jordan Montgomery was acquired from the Yankees, we were on these airwaves, Jamie. I said, that's a great trade. And people were up in arms because it was Bader for Montgomery. And I said, Montgomery is solid.
Because he's relatively unknown to our fan base.
I go, he's solid. He's going to take the ball every 5 days. His numbers are going to be consistent. You're going to love this guy. So in other words, I'm a Jordan Montgomery guy. But if he doesn't choose St. Louis because he wants to go back to New York,
but what if he just didn't
wherever,
like his time here?
Yeah.
I get the feeling.
There's nothing the Cardinals can do.
I said it earlier talking to BT. I don't know anything more than the next person. With his body language and the way he answered certain things in the media.
He looked fed up.
He did not like it here. He didn't like the 5 and dive. He wanted to go 6-7 innings. The Cardinals didn't let him do that, whether it was performance-based or strategy or whoever else you want to put it. I don't think he liked the overall strategy with the pitchers.
Yeah.
That's my take on it. That's just me. So I don't even know if he would want to come back.
Would we want him? Yeah.
I'd take him.
Of course.
Hell, I'd take Quintana back here, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
For that matter.
From the 618, are you sold that the Cards will win 85-plus games in 2024?
They better.
No, I'm not sold on that.
What?
They have a lot to prove, Jamie. They have a lot to prove after this year. I don't think they deserve the benefit of the doubt. Look, you got fat, dumb, and happy for a long time because you were winning in a bad division. Credit you. Milwaukee didn't win that consistently. Pittsburgh never won. Cincinnati never won that consistently. The Cubs have never won that consistently. So the Cardinals deserve credit for that. Even though it's a bad division, other teams are in that division. So you deserve credit for that. But you got fat, dumb, and happy because of it. And it was just this foregone conclusion that you were going to make the postseason and you could just go and do your little patchworks and then the trade deadline would come and you would just kind of make your small moves and you were going to be fine. You were going to make the playoffs. Well, guess what happened? The bottom fell out on you. The wheels popped off. So I'm not just going to assume anything. Show us this offseason that you're going to get 2 or 3 starting pitchers. Show us the urgency this offseason. Even though we're the show that's constantly reminding you, hey, these free agents have to pick us too. There's plenty of pitching on the market. There is. It might not be top end, but there's plenty of pitching. And if you can't get through free agency wise, then get creative on the trade market. There should be no excuse for this front office to not do what it needs to be, what needs to be done based on the disaster that this season was. That's my thought on it. So no, I'm not sold on 85 wins plus.
No, I don't think you can be sold on anything right now. With the way things went this year and the pitching hasn't been addressed or rectified at all.
Right.
No, I can't jump on that ball. I'm not.
From the 314, hopefully we get cool bobbleheads next season. Bobbleheads and fireworks.
Fireworks. We're just supposed to like this.
All right, from the 636, are you guys sold on this Blues defense? Didn't really add a lot to the team during the off season.
It's a fair question.
It's a very fair question, and I understand why they're asking that question.
But you weren't going to be able to do. You weren't going to be able to move on from your top.
He tried.
You did try.
He tried, and that player said, no, I'd like to be a St. Louis Blue. And for me, it was a bit of a one-off season. I could be wrong, but those guys, those top 4 defensemen, it's not a regular thing for all 4 guys to not have a great year.
Yeah.
Now, I would argue Justin Falk had himself probably the best year out of all of them. He was the most consistent, the most solid, certainly had the highest offensive output. So maybe it's not fair to put him in that category, so we'll take him out. It's still rare to have 3 of your top 4 defensemen have off years in the same year.
Yeah.
I don't anticipate that happening. So by default, guess what? Your defense is going to get better. And now watching them play their new defensive system, going back to taking away the middle of the ice, layers of defense out there, I think that it'll help everybody involved. So they tried to make a move, couldn't get it accomplished. I do believe this defensive core will be better.
Well, we can expand the conversation and talk to Joey Vitale about this next in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN.
Anthony, I go back a little bit here, and I wasn't in a good spot. I wasn't feeling like myself. I was overweight, out of shape. My desire to do anything was slowly fading away. And then someone told me to go in and talk to Mentality. I said, why not? Let's do it. Went in there, talked to the board-certified physicians, and they were immediately ready to help me, asking me all sorts of questions about, what my expectations are, what I'd like to change, how I'm feeling. It was awesome. They did a full blood panel, and the blood panel doesn't lie. Found out I was low on testosterone as well as other vitamins. They created a program that was specific to me, and things have been different ever since.
Yeah, there's a person that brought me into Mentality, too. It was you.
You got it, baby.
And you brought me in.
I got you.
Similar results, right? So same deal. You sit down, you speak to somebody. That's the nice thing, too. It's not like, oh, welcome in. We got a one-size-fits-all product here. You're good to go. No, it doesn't work that way because they're serious about your health, and they're serious when you go in there and, like Jamie and myself, say, yeah, man, I'm run down all the time. Jamie's got multiple jobs, and he's got multiple companies and things like that. Got multiple jobs, stress and everything of everyday life. You get run down. You don't feel the same. You going to settle for that, or are you going to go in because Jamie and I found the help we need? So you can do it as well. Tell them Jamie and Anthony sent you. Mentality's going to take care of you. Their program, it's easy, by the way. It's not like, they're doing all the hard work, and you get the benefits.
Just show up.
You just show up. And then you start feeling great. All of a sudden, Jamie started working out again. I started working out again, and we feel great.
Yeah, I feel amazing, and you can too. So please go visit them, or if nothing else, at least visit them online at lowtusa.com. Again, that's our friends at Mentality at lowtusa.com.
Vitale views things a little differently. Just imagine how he looks at hockey. Whoa! This is The View from Vitale, brought to you by Scott Lee Heating Company, a proud Mitsubishi Electric Elite contractor.
It's a Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Time for our weekly chat with Joey Vitale. You'll hear him each and every game right here on 101 ESPN, your home of the St. Louis Blues. Joey, of course, alongside Chris Kerber for every call, including last night when the Blues took on the Blue Jackets. What's up, Joey?
Boys, how we doing today? Doing great.
We're doing great ourselves. So we were just talking about the defense. We get a question from the text line that we were answering about, are you sold? We played Are You Sold? Are you sold on this defense being improved despite the top four coming back? The same top four coming back. How would you answer that, Joey?
You know, I would say I think it's a great question first of all, and I think that the small sample size that we've seen in the preseason, I think leads me to believe that, yes, it will improve, and it already has improved on a small level. Craig Berube addressed this briefly earlier today, talking about how he has liked the small changes they've seen. You know, I think two big things really stand out. Number one, I think one of those top four defensemen in Torrey Krug. You know, I think that he's going to be coming into this season with a little bit of a burn in saddle, a little bit of chip on his shoulder. You know, no one wants to hear that the team doesn't want you anymore than trying to trade you. He decided to say, no, I don't want to be traded. I want to stay here, which he had every right to do. But with that comes this sense of, hey, I got to get some giddy up in my game again. You know, and not saying this is the case for Torrey, but you see it with a lot of guys who sign these 7-8-year deals. You know, it's sometimes to find the motivation, to find the drive to get up every single day and to continue to do this. It gets very hard on those long-term deals. And again, not saying this was Torrey's case, but I think now that there's going to be a little bit more urgency and a little bit more maybe competitiveness that wouldn't have been there given the situation of what went on this summer. That's number one. And I think the second thing, the biggest thing is that they have changed their system. You can see it from up top very well. You know, luckily for Curbs and I, we have a good bird's eye view of every game so far. It was a great snapshot of it last night in Columbus. Although Columbus did have some good offensive zone time, you do see what they're doing. It is more tightly compacted in front of the goaltender. Think of that crease all the way out to the hash marks and right around the top of the circles. Right in the middle, that core is covered. They did a very good job of it last night. The biggest issue they will face as you head into this different system, being more tight to the middle instead of spreading out, is you got to be willing to block shots. And you got to be willing to get in front of shots because, you know, with being a compacted defensive zone in the middle, the outsides are going to be open, the boards and the corners, and especially the points. And teams are going to look to exploit this style by using the points and getting shots through. So it's really good for limiting the grade A chances. But now the Blues certainly have to take that next step. And as far as the shots from the outside, they got to be blocked, and you got to get underneath the sticks. And it'd be really hard to defend against. But if you do all those things, it could look really good.
Joey, the Blues defense, I mean, realistically, they're 9 guys deep on the blue line if you include the two-way contract to Calle Rosen, and he played the whole season here last year. You know, how do the Blues go about properly getting the chance to evaluate who their bottom guys will be on the D-core? Because, you know, obviously each guy wants to get their right amount of time to prove that they can play, but that's an awful lot of bodies. How do the Blues go about figuring that out?
You know, Jamie, it's going to be an interesting next week. Let's just call it the next 4 or 5 days, because the Blues have to make some decisions. And there's one decision, I think, and I was talking to Ryan Miller about this last night. There's one player, I think a lot of players, a lot of people, a lot of fans, I certainly as a broadcaster, I was almost embarrassed I didn't know the answer to this. I think a lot of people forget about, and it's Scott Perunovich. Scott Perunovich, he needs to clear waivers. And it sounds crazy to think because he hasn't played all that long in the league, but you think of that 1 year he was on the taxi squad, that actually burnt up one of those years. So Scott Perunovich does, in fact, need to clear waivers. So that makes a difference. You look at Jake Neighbors, who, you know, has even more experience than I would say Scott Perunovich. He does not need to clear waivers. So there's going to be some micromanaging of the roster. Maybe certain players did not deserve to go down, but have to go down to kind of protect assets. But defensively, to answer your question, that to me is the wild card now, because Scott Perunovich will get picked up if you send him down. So to me, he has to stay. So you look at Leddy, Parayko, it will be Krug and Falk in the top 4, and then kind of take your pick: Marco Scandella, Bortuzzo, Calle Rosen, Scott Perunovich, and Tyler Tucker. Those are 5 guys all fighting to me for those last 2 spots. Now they're going to carry 2D. So really the question becomes, let's assume it's Marco Scandella, and let's just for conversations, it's Tyler, who they've really loved in camp on that bottom pair. Bortuzzo, Rosen, and then Scott Prunovich. Guys, it's just a numbers game. Someone's going to have to go down. Someone's going to have to clear waivers, and all three of those guys have to clear waivers. So it could be a situation where we end up losing somebody through this waiver wire, which we will find out in the next 4 or 5 days.
Joey, as I look at the forward group, I think that the top of the lineup is kind of, they've kind of set themselves apart from, the other guys. But when I look at the fringe players, and I always have a soft spot for the fringe players because I spent a lot of time there myself in my career, kind of whittling in and out of that lineup. But I look at some of the guys that are competing for that spot, and I don't know. I look at some of the games that have been played, and I just don't know if anybody has really separated themselves from the pack to where you're like, okay, these are my go-to guys for sure on the fourth line. And it looks like if the Blues have to keep 2 extra D, they'll only keep 1 extra forward.
And that's exactly right. So then you keep 1 extra forward, and because you can send Jake Neighbors down. And I think they're trying to give Jake a really good chance. And this is where it's just going to be very interesting. If Jake ends up, playing tomorrow, 2 nights from now in Dallas, and then he finishes, let's say, Saturday versus Chicago Blackhawks, let's say he plays really good. I think it was a good step last night for Jake, too, by the way. I think his camp has gotten a little bit better each and every game. Let's just say he comes out and just blows them out of the water on Thursday and maybe Saturday. Well, then you really got a sticky situation in your hands because then you're dealing with all these other extras who have to clear waivers, whether it be a Nathan Walker or Mackenzie McEachran. So Jake Neighbors certainly is going to try to give Doug Armstrong a headache. Let's just put it that way after Saturday's game. You want to put your GM in a bad spot because he essentially wants to stay here. Has Jake done everything necessary for him to stay here? Maybe, maybe not. And again, it could just be a logistic thing where you send him down because you want to protect some of the other assets and just kind of see how this thing rolls out. I agree with you, Jamie. I think that, aside from a few players who definitely took a step last night, there is maybe one more spot on that fourth line that we just don't know about. I think the third line, certainly you're looking at Kevin Hayes, and you're looking at a player like Sammy Blais as well, and then let's call it that Verana for right now. So really it's the fourth line. I think the 2 guys that have established themselves that are locks are Oscar Sundqvist in the middle and Toropchenko, who had a great game last night. Physical, taking the pucks in net, back-checking, killing penalties. So those 2 are just locked into the fourth line. So really kind of leaves that right winger spot in the fourth line. And again, McEachran, it could be Nathan Walker. Maybe it's Jake Neighbors. So there is options, and I really think that, Craig Berube and Doug Armstrong have to take a very good look and give all 3 of those guys another good shot. Thursday come Dallas, and then of course the final one on Saturday to kind of see who essentially wants that spot. Because I agree with you, I don't know if anyone really separated themselves up until last night. Toropchenko took a big step for me and really kind of solidified his spot there. Sundqvist played a boatload, ton of faceoffs, great on the dot. So those 2 are in, but it definitely is going to be a little bit rolling the dice here when it comes to that final spot on the fourth line.
Joey, since we asked you about the defense and the forward group, might as well ask you about the goaltenders. How have you viewed the goaltending situation in the preseason thus far? Save for, of course, the first period last night.
Yeah, I would tell you what, Joel Hofer, I talked to him afterwards on the plane. He was smiling. He's a poised kid. He's not rattled by last night at all. We were even joking that the team, they'd be the first to tell you that there was just a turnover central in that first period. They couldn't seem to get through the neutral zone. Columbus, give them a lot of credit. They had a very good trap. Lots of turnovers and led going back the other way. I mean, a McEachran turnover led to the second goal. Tyler Tucker literally gets his pocket picked right to the right side of Hofer, point blank in. So there's certain goals that maybe you would like to have back, maybe that first one. But aside from that, these were just really good shots in grade A areas because of turnovers. Once the Blues got it cleaned up, Joel looked great. I thought he played and stood on his head in that third period. So I'm not worried about his confidence. I'm not worried about where he's at. Again, he's very mature beyond his years. So he will be the backup and it's going to be the starter. What's interesting as I watch these goalies more and more, and someone told me there's a goaltender scout of mine, a friend of mine, Brad Thiessen. He works for Columbus now, and he made a comment. And again, he's been in the Columbus organization. He was a Hobie finalist, played some pro hockey as well. He said the thing about Joel Hofer that he recognizes and notices,
he said he reminds you so much of Bennington. The way he moves, the way he covers angles, the way he plays the puck, his attitude, his demeanor off the ice. He said really the only difference between Hofer and Bennington is Hofer's got a few inches on him, which is a good thing. And certainly the Blues, from a goaltender standpoint, because of those reasons just laid out, the goaltender situation is going to be very good. It's going to be positive this year. I think Bennington, unlike last year where Thomas Greiss was just this bona fide backup, I think this is going to be more of a I punch, you punch. I get a shutout, now it's my turn. It's going to be a good, healthy balance and a healthy competition in that blue paint this year, which I think at the end of the day, for the competitors in Hofer and Bennington, I think that's what brings out the best in them.
Joey, good stuff, man. We appreciate having you on. Enjoy the next couple of nights off.
Anytime, and look forward to talking to you guys next week.
All right, see you, Joey. See ya. Joey had to go, I think.
Yeah.
He was ready to rock. Interesting note there at the end. Do you, when you watch Hofer play, do you see some similarities?
Yeah, they're both big goalies. Hofer being bigger, of course, but it's quiet in the crease. Mm-hmm. Talking about that before. Jordan Binnington is at his best with limited movements and limited rebounds.
Yeah.
Joel Hofer is very much the same way. I do like Hofer's puck skills. Jordan Binnington, some people get a little bit stressed out when he plays the puck as much as he does, but he is one of the better puck-handling goaltenders in the NHL. Joel Hofer's got some work to do there to catch up to Binnington, but he's very confident with the puck, makes good decisions. I agree with Joey. It's a very good 1-2 tandem for the Blues this year. I don't think if things are going south for whatever reason, it's not going to be because of your goalies.
Yeah. What's trending is next in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN.
going on in the world of sports? The Fast Lane has you covered with what's trending now.
Brought to you by Goodwill. Donate to Goodwill and get a Lion's Choice sandwich coupon.
5:03, your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler with Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. Here's Andrew Marsh.
All right, guys, I saw this on Twitter or X. Matthew Rocchio, our own.
Oh, boy.
With the opening drive. He also does Soccer 101 with Moon, who's a part of the Riz Show, one of our enemies right now.
Yeah.
By the way, we lost. I don't know for those that...
we lost the NFL Challenge. Yep.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, we did. So, well, some of the listeners might not know. They might just be tuning in.
You know what? They can go figure it out, okay?
You're right.
We're still up 3-1. So that was the first win. Took them until October to get it. So good work there. You know.
All right, guys. So we know that City SC clinched a spot in the playoffs. They also clinched the top spot in the West. However, what they did not get was the Supporters Shield for the best team in the MLS during the regular season. That went to FC Cincinnati. Pat Noonan, who is from St. Louis, he is their head coach. He said, I think that has now surpassed the MLS Cup in terms of relevancy. That's not to take away the desire for our team to hold an MLS Cup trophy. Matthew Rocchio, who does Soccer 101, he had to chime in on X saying, I'm going to be the ugly American on this one and go against a fellow STL guy, but absolutely not. No way. Nope. You think the Blues ever cared about the President's Cup when they were golfing by late May? Nope, not doing this. What are your guys' thoughts on MLS and Pat Noonan thinking that the best record in the regular season is more important than the MLS Cup?
Well, I think Pat has lost his mind, first of all. Pat sounds like a guy to me that's worried about his team in the playoffs.
Yep.
That's what it sounds like to me. Hey, let's celebrate the regular season because, that's the best one. And, we won that. So, that's the new MLS Cup. No, it isn't, buddy. Or they would call it the championship. They wouldn't just make you league champions. They would call you like playoff champions as well. So Pat seems like a coach to me that is already trying to make excuses for his team. I feel that 100%. And if I was part of that team, I would be ticked off if my coach said that. I'd be like, we're not done here. What the hell are you talking about? We're not celebrating. Like, why do you think they don't touch the conference trophies in the NHL? They don't celebrate winning the conference because that's not what the ultimate goal is. They don't celebrate the President's Trophy. When's the last time they skated around the ice with the President's Trophy? Never, Anthony. I've got a couple in my house. They mail them to you. And they go in your office, okay?
Yeah.
All right, great.
Nice job.
Yeah, that's it. So, no, I couldn't disagree more with Pat.
No, it's one of the more ridiculous statements I think you're ever going to hear. Nobody remembers the regular season champion in any league. If you want to do, I realize that was it the Premier League. The Premier League, they don't have playoffs, right? They just.
Well, that's what I'm wondering.
Okay, fine.
Soccer fans,
they want to do that. That's fantastic.
Cherry picking.
Here on American soil, though.
Yeah.
We don't celebrate you until you're the last team standing.
We're going to be the ugly Americans.
That's fine.
Rocchio put it.
Yeah. I understand. You want to hurl stones at that opinion? Fine. But the gauntlet that is the playoffs, that's the true championship. Every hockey team that went through the gauntlet of the NHL postseason deserved a championship. You don't highlight the President's Trophy winner in that year?
No.
Stop it.
I wonder if MLS soccer in the playoffs will be different than the regular season. You mentioned the NHL, Major League Baseball, the postseason is different. I saw a tweet from Travis Sawchick. He said, Major League Baseball's postseason offers us great theater and makes for good television, but is it too different from the regular season? I mean, it is.
Every sport is.
But to me, it's that heightened. It's heightened. It's
pressure.
There's so much on the line.
Yeah.
Every out, every second, every shift.
It's the pressure. It's the team that wins under the most pressure.
We celebrate the clutch players. Why do you think David Freese got elected to the Cardinals Hall of Fame? He declined it. Why did he decline it? Because it was a playoff performance, a moment. I disagree with David Freese on that one.
Yeah.
But that's what we celebrate. Mr. October. That wasn't made up because he was great in spring training. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like Jordan Binnington, that run in 2019.
Yeah.
Clutch. Go back, Mr. Game 7, Justin Williams with Carolina and all those teams. Like, there's a reason that you have those playoff guys.
No, we need to celebrate the random Saturday night that we won in Kansas City. Yeah. That's when it mattered. Come on. Get out of here. I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Screw you, Cincinnati.
We get a text from the 636. Oh, that's what we said for Sporty KC.
I screw everybody.
Well said.
Yep.
From the 636, what is trending? The Cardinals need starting pitching. I just watched a great performance by this soon-to-be free agent on the Texas Rangers. I don't know if you've ever heard about him, but his name is Jordan Montgomery. This Jordan Montgomery fella, well, since you haven't heard of him, let me tell you how he did today. He went 7 innings, gave up 6 hits, 0 runs, struck out 5, and walked none.
He was outstanding today. He was great. Made a hell of a catch on a bunt play, too, that could have potentially led to runs at some point. That was in the 3rd or the 4th inning. Montgomery cruised. That was one of the more efficient victories I think I've ever seen a baseball team have. I mean, the Rangers showed up. They got on base. They had their clutch moments. Montgomery shoved. The bullpen, Chapman, and then their closer came in. Done. So the Rangers now up 1-0. Royce Lewis is also having himself a day.
Yeah, he is.
I think he's the 3rd player now in MLB history that's got 2 home runs in a postseason game, I think.
2 at-bats, 2 home runs.
2 at-bats, home runs, is that what it is?
I think that's what it is.
And the first player since 2008 to do it or something?
I don't know. They're lucky that the bases weren't loaded, though, because it seems like every time he comes up, he's hitting a grand slam.
Yeah, and he just got back from injury, too. And the Twins are up 3-0.
He'll be a welcome addition.
Blue Jays. For who?
What, Royce Lewis?
Be a welcome addition to who?
You said he just got back, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I said. He's a welcome addition. What the hell's your problem?
I didn't know what you meant. That's what I asked.
What is he? What, you wouldn't welcome that back in? 2 for 2, 2 home runs?
I would.
I didn't understand the puzzle there.
I didn't understand the statement. He'll be a welcome addition?
Yeah, to the team. Welcome back.
I thought you were making a crack at the Cardinals. Like he'd be a welcome addition to the Cardinals or something. I didn't know. I was confused.
I kind of thought he was going that direction too.
Yeah, that's your problem.
We got a text from the 573 going back to the soccer conversation. 573 says Supporters Shield winner and other conference champ get a spot in the CONCACAF Champions League. Winner of the Champions League goes to the Club World Cup. Much more publicity than an MLS Cup.
What does that even mean?
I don't care.
Who cares?
Are you a champion or not?
573. If you
I don't
great.
care.
Celebrate
Go over there
that,
and fine. Get into the tournament, get your ass kicked, and then what? You're nothing. We crown champions. What are we doing here?
Why even have the playoffs if the other one's more important? Like,
I got into this tournament. I don't care.
Whatever.
You get tournaments every 4 seconds.
You do have a lot of them.
In soccer.
True.
Now, granted, sounds like it's a big deal because it's the World Cup one. Okay, I get it. But,
it sounds pretty important.
It sounds pretty big.
Well, is it though?
But who cares?
Is it though? Because apparently, playoffs and cups and tournaments doesn't matter.
As long as you win in the regular season, that's what should be celebrated.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't care. As long as City wins, then I'm fine.
Yeah.
City SC.
And you know what else is screwy about what Pat said? Is that, the Supporters Shield, you don't even play every team in the league. Like MLS, they don't even play like this. So how the hell? How is that even a fair comparable? What if they've got a dog crap team in their conference that they beat the snot out of 3 times? Yeah. And what is it? No,
they want to celebrate it.
Yeah.
They want to celebrate it.
Don't mess with our soccer Pat Noonan from St. Louis.
They want to walk around.
He's just jealous that he's not coaching City SC.
That's exactly what it is.
Yep,
that's exactly what it is, Jamie. NFL stock market buy, sell, or hold on certain players next on 101 ESPN.
We're back with Pure Performance. Everything to do with your aftermarket accessories. If you've got a Jeep or a Bronco or any vehicle for that matter. Heck, even a minivan. I've seen minivans over at Pure Performance, and they're doing a fantastic job on accessorizing all of that. The process is so awesome. First of all, go out and check out the showroom. It's a 25,000 square foot facility. It's located right there, right off of Highway 70 in St. Peters. Do me a favor, though. When you walk in, you have to ask for Shelby. She runs that place. Don't let anybody tell you any different. Shelby runs that place. Tell her that Jamie Rivers sent you in. She's going to ask you what you're looking to do, whether it's tires or whether it's running boards or anything at all. They've got you covered at Pure Performance, and their technicians are fantastic at what they do. And it's a full-service garage, too. So you're not just limited to accessories. If there's anything else that you need while your vehicle's in there, they've got you covered. And I tell you what, the customer service and customer satisfaction is off the charts. I absolutely love my friends over at Pure Performance. So please get in there and say hi to them. Again, tell them that Jamie Rivers sent you in. But if you can't get there in person, get there online. Visit them at pureperformance.com. That's pure, P-U-R, performance.com.
All right, time to play NFL stock market buy, sell, or hold. And Marsh, I believe we got a quarterback theme today, don't we?
Yes, we do, Anthony. Yes, we do.
Why would we do that?
Why don't we start off with buy, sell, or hold? Baker Mayfield.
Oh!
I know where Jamie's at here.
Yeah. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind. I'm going to hold on this one. It is, at the end of the day, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 3-1.
I did not see that coming.
He put up, 276, three touchdowns. Did. But let's not forget, it's still Baker Mayfield, okay? And I'm not ready to take my hard-earned cash and buy stock in Baker Mayfield. So I'm going to hold on that one.
I'm going to hold as well. I don't think there's any reason to sell.
No.
Because he's been good.
They're going to win the division.
But I'm not buying. They probably will.
No, they're 3-1.
They probably will,
it's a
honestly.
juggernaut down there. Yeah. NFC South.
Yeah. Somebody's got to win it. It's just ask the Bucs from last year. But
the under 500 Bucks.
That's correct. There's no reason to buy, though. Look, this is still the same player that was jettisoned in Cleveland.
Ooh, jettisoned.
is the same player that was jettisoned in Carolina last year. I know he made the one pass in that game for the Rams last year that got everybody all hot and bothered. What did he do after that? This year, he has faced Minnesota and Chicago, and he put up good numbers. And really, the Minnesota game, he only threw for 173 yards, but he had the 2 touchdowns.
All he needed.
That's all he needed. He faced a real defense against Philadelphia. They only asked him to throw the ball 25 times, even though he couldn't run it, which tells me a lot when it comes to Baker Mayfield and the trust. His best game was last Sunday. If he builds off that against it's a very good New Orleans team, he completed 78.1% of his passes, 3 touchdowns, 7.7 per average. Great. If he builds off that, now we can talk, but I'm holding too.
I'm holding. I don't see a reason why I should buy Baker Mayfield. He hasn't done this for a full season since, the Browns made the playoffs back in, 2021?
Yeah, that was I think it was was that the pandemic year, 2020, that he did that on the road? That was when Big Ben had a bunch of turnovers.
Yeah.
I think that was 2020. I could be wrong.
Either way. I haven't seen it from Baker Mayfield for a full season in quite some time, so I'm going to go ahead and hold on Baker Mayfield for the time being. But I like what I see.
Buy, sell, or hold Joe Burrow.
Oh, I'm selling. I am selling. And not because Joe Burrow's not talented, because he's injured. And whatever's going on with his calf, it's affecting everything right now. That team is not good. And not even Joe Burrow can save them. And he's not playing very well either. So I am selling on Joe Burrow.
Marsh?
I'm going to hold. He's still Joe Burrow. There's still time left in the season. I think until maybe week 7, I'll give him and that team, I'll give him a little bit of leeway, but it's not looking great right now, but I will hold for the time being just because it's Joe Burrow.
I didn't buy Joe Burrow 2023 stock, so I'm not picking it up at this point. Jamie's right. He's not healthy. He's not healthy. There's no reason to believe that things are going to magically turn around unless he is healthy. I am buying Anthony Richardson stock, though. I think he's played great. He missed virtually 2 games because of the concussion, but he almost willed them to victory against Jacksonville. He almost willed them to victory against L.A. on Sunday. And you might say, well, he didn't win the game. Besides Michael Pittman, he's got nothing around him.
Yeah, but he didn't win the game, Anthony.
He didn't win the game. I'll give you that, Jamie. Good point. He is almost doing this on his own. I think
he's not almost.
He's doing it on his own.
Yeah.
I think he's ahead of where a lot of us thought he was going to be as this very talented but very raw quarterback.
Yeah,
he's been impressive.
I'm buying. I think that if you look at the QB rookie class that is in the NFL right now, he's got to be right there in the conversation, be the best one.
Yeah.
Bryce Young has not looked great.
No.
C.J. Stroud's been pretty good.
C.J. Stroud's been excellent.
Been pretty good.
He's been the best rookie thus far.
But Anthony Richardson's right there with him, man. I honestly believe that. And I think C.J. Stroud has a better team around him. Not much, but he does have a better team around him. The Colts are not very good. And I think the talent of Anthony Richardson's going to play in the NFL. Everybody's worried he's raw. Yeah. He is, but I think he'll play.
The accuracy is still off, but he's got a big arm. He's athletic and looks like a team that looks like a player that everybody rallies around.
Some of the teams like it raw.
Very true, Jamie.
And they can mold it into whatever they want.
I'm going to buy Anthony Richardson just like you fellas. I love his leadership, not only on the field but off the field. I think from what I've heard, he's a great dude. So I think that plays in the locker room as well. So I'm going to buy Anthony Richardson. And if for some reason Jonathan Taylor comes back and they actually keep him on the team, I think this Colts team can actually do something good this year in an AFC South that seems like we don't really have a king of the castle, if you know what I'm saying.
No, Jacksonville hasn't been overly impressive.
They haven't. And actually, Tennessee, who thought they were going to win some games? I know I didn't.
I thought they'd win Sunday.
You called that.
I also thought they would win last Sunday when they got crushed by Cleveland. So that's the one team, Tennessee. I don't know what they are. I don't know what they aren't. I have no idea what the Titans will be. C.J. Stroud, I'm buying, though. I think we can all buy some C.J. Stroud.
Let's go.
He's been fantastic.
Double down.
All right, Mac Jones.
Sell.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I had Mac Jones stock, but if for some reason there was the penny stocks, and I just said, hey, why not? I'm selling that too.
Absolutely. I'm holding. That stock ain't worth crap right now.
He's been terrible.
That stock is not worth anything. You'd be better off to hold it.
That's true.
And hope for a good week. And then you sell everything.
It can't get worse.
Yes, that's how we do it in the stock market, Anthony.
He's been terrible.
I'm going to hold on Mac Jones.
Oh, man.
And just hope that 1 or 2 weeks go and then I can sell him for a profit.
Oh.
Ugh. Sounds very similar to a situation we have here in town.
Really?
Well, you're not going to get enough from the players, so you keep them on the roster.
I don't like the way you did that. Now I feel dirty.
What are you talking about?
You are.
You know what you're talking about. I'm talking about.
Why do you feel dirty, though?
He hasn't showered in 3 days.
It's just a bad, that. But it's just the whole thought process of like, well, we can't get proper value, so we'll just hold on to this guy.
Why would you assume it was the Cardinals?
Why are you using that voice?
Yeah.
You guys know.
That was weird.
Anthony, you make me feel dirty.
Sam Howell. Buy, seller.
Stench is just everywhere.
Buy, seller, hold. Buy, seller, hold. Sam Howell. I'm going to hold.
Oh, yeah. It's not a hold. I don't know what the hell he is.
He's been okay.
Yeah.
He really has. He's been okay. He hasn't been good, but he hasn't been Desmond Ritter, you know?
Not many are.
He hasn't been Mac Jones.
Yeah.
I'm also holding on Sam Howell. I don't know what that team is. Are they good? Are they bad? Is he good? Is he bad?
Yeah, the defense. Everybody loves that defense. Really, they stink too.
I mean, are we going for it for 2, or is he too tired?
Go for 2. I said what? You have the Eagles down. Go for 2, win the game. They're too tired. They looked it when you tried to go, when you won the toss and you went 3 and out. Offensively, they did look tired there. So why don't you try to pick up 1.5 yards or 2 yards or whatever it is and win the game then? That was dumb. Riverboat Ron. Derek Carr is somebody I'm absolutely selling on.
Yes.
Here's the thing. Derek Carr, I said this on the Gridiron Guys podcast today with Kerry Davis, and
By the way,
that's available. New episode just dropped today, appreciate you listening. I said this today on Gridiron Guys. Derek Carr and Kirk Cousins, we need to flip the narrative on those guys. Kirk Cousins is better than what we treat him. And Derek Carr is much worse than we treat him. Derek Carr, for whatever reason, you put him in bubble wrap. Not his fault, the Raiders' fault. It's the same guy. He stinks. He's not Desmond Ritter awful, but he's average at best.
Okay, calm down, Ronnie Harrison.
And we treat...
Oh, wow, hot garbage.
I'm not on national television, at least. Talking to a player he just played against.
Baiting him.
Seriously. Kirk Cousins... We want Kirk Cousins to win every game by 42 and put up all these big-time numbers, or else he stinks. And Derek Carr, we're like, no, you're fine. What? What? His offensive line isn't good, and he's Mr. Pat the Ball, too. Constantly. Another sack.
Pat the balls, Anthony.
You got Thomas. You got Michael Thomas. You got
the guy pass the balls too many times. What he's going to do?
You got Olave. You got Kamara's back. Really? Nobody's open ever, Derek? I'm out on Derek Carr.
Well, Jamar Chase is open.
Jamar Chase is always open.
He's always open.
Just throwing it.
Well, Derek Carr doesn't have a Bart Starr award.
No, he doesn't.
At least last year he didn't.
Not yet.
Well, I don't think he will with the way he's been playing lately.
Good point.
The Bucs are going to win that divition.
Thank you. It took you a while, man.
Yes, I'm in. I've come around a couple of times here this week, Jamie. Joshua Dobbs, I'll buy a little stock in him. Joshua Dobbs faced San Francisco's defense and performed light years better than Daniel Jones and Kenny Pickett, who also faced the same San Francisco defense.
Oh, yeah.
Joshua Dobbs has played very well for the Cardinals, and he got there right before the season started. I've been impressed with him. Talk about nothing around him. He's played well.
Yeah, he's exceeded all of my expectations. So, based on that alone, I'll buy on that.
Fair.
I'll buy some Joshua Dobbs stock. Why not? I feel like the Cardinals have been playing pretty good. Like, even though they're
Way better than I thought they were going to be.
Yeah, for sure. They're the best try. They try really hard, as you say.
They do. They do. They put in good effort. All right, so let me ask you this. Speaking of the Cardinals, have you guys seen who they're playing this Sunday?
I have not.
I find this fascinating. So the Cardinals are at home.
It's probably a divisional game.
It's not a divisional game. It's not even a conference game.
Oh, okay. Well, let's play this game.
At home?
They're at home against a non-conference team.
What's so funny about it?
Well, I really want to see. I really want to see where you guys have the Cardinals based on their opponent. Because we're all like, well, the Cardinals aren't good, but they try hard. Okay. Who are you picking for that game?
That's a real Stalter's choice.
I don't.
Is it the Jets?
No.
Even worse.
No.
No.
Ish.
Really?
Yeah. We were just talking about this individual.
Is it Kenny Pickett?
No, before that. Top of the segment.
Oh.
I think second, maybe?
Yeah, it was second.
Oh, the Bengals.
Uh-huh.
Now how you feel about the Cardinals?
Wow.
I got to that matchup, I go, oh, wow.
What do you mean? I feel like they might win.
That'll be the one.
Right.
That'll be the one this week. You're like, the one that's driving you crazy.
100%. It's that, the Saints and Patriots. Like, what do you do with that one?
I'm rolling with Bailey Zappi.
I'm going with...
Not even starting, is he?
I'm going with Max Zappi.
He came in last week.
That's because Mac Jones, I think, had the Cowboys, all of his contract, I think, was on Dallas. And I think Belichick realized that and said, we got to get this guy out.
There are a lot of games this week. This week is going to be tough.
Oh, yeah.
You got the Jets and the Broncos. Not sure what to pick there. They got the Cowboys and the Niners.
Yeah.
But still.
Yeah, it's a good matchup.
Pittsburgh, Baltimore, that's not so great, but tough one.
There's some coin flips for sure. All right, build your sleeper results. We did this last week. I think there's no way Jamie didn't win this. Jamie put together a good team. Although Marsh, the smile on his face would indicate that he did well. I think there's no way. I think I did terrible. I don't think my guys did well at all. I had Paris Campbell last night. I don't even think he played.
Pull up my records here.
So we'll have that, and then the biggest question of the day next on 101 ESPN. Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter, and we called our guy Stewie today to talk about something that I think a lot of people are struggling with right now, and that is high debt. You get yourself in a bad situation, and you think you get out of it early on, and then before you know it, it snowballs. And now with the interest rates being up, Jamie, it is certainly a troubling time. So we got Stewie. We're going to talk to him here in a second, but if I know our guy Stewie, he's going to have an answer for us that is going to help out a lot of people, because that's really why he's in business.
Yeah, he loves helping out everybody, and in particular, he loves helping out the 101 listeners, and the customer service is that old school customer service.
So, Stewie, we were just talking about this. A lot of people in bad debt. Interest rates are up. What can we do to help?
All right, first of all, today's jobs report was unexpectedly better. That means that there's more incentive for the Federal Reserve to continue and raise even more of those interest rates. Credit card rates are approaching 30% plus. If you're in a situation where you have accrued debt, you want to take cash, but you're stuck, you got a great rate on your first mortgage, 2-3%. You don't want to disrupt it if you have a $400,000 balance and get $40,000 out. So we have the alternative for you. You just take out a straight second mortgage. It's a fixed rate. You don't have to worry about the rates going up. and you don't have to worry about disrupting that 3% rate. Now, if you have a lot of debt, like $100,000 or $200,000, that's a different story. You need to call me and see if it's better to give up the 3% or just go for that second mortgage for that chunk of money to get rid of the credit card debt. Call us and we'll let you know.
The key right there, Anthony, is call Stewie. Bottom line, don't try to figure it out on your own. Don't ask a friend or a buddy or whatever. No, call Stewie. He gives out his personal cell phone number. That number's 314-324-4440.
314-324-4440.
Call him, text him anytime. Let him know that you're listening to the Fast Lane. You want some help. Stewie's there to help you. If you can't remember that number, Anthony, what can you do?
You can always Google the bag along. Thanks, Stewie.
Have a good one, guys.
NMLS number 226715.
Halloween will be here soon. Ghosts and goblins and all things scary. Let Goodwill be your store for decorations, costumes, and so much more. Shop for your Halloween at Goodwill, changing lives through the power of work.
Sponsored by Swift Transportation.
ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. Major League Baseball's postseason is underway. It's the first year since 2018 that the Cards will not participate. Texas defeated Tampa Bay earlier today by a final score of 4-0. A great outing by Jordan Montgomery, former Cardinal. He went 7 innings, gave up 6 hits, no runs, and struck out 5. Currently, the Twins are beating Toronto 3-1. And then tonight, the Arizona Diamondbacks will take on the Milwaukee Brewers, and the Marlins will head to Philadelphia to take on the Phillies. Also last night, preseason action, the Blues lost to the Columbus Blue Jackets by a final score of 5-3. They'll be back in action Thursday going up against the Stars. Pregame starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7. If you missed anything from today's show, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the 101 mobile app. It's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
All right, Marsh, I think the results are in, right? Build your sleeper. We did this on Friday where we picked a quarterback, a running back, and wide receiver. They all had to be sleeper players. I'm pretty sure I did awful. I think Jamie did pretty well, and I think Marsh, you did okay, right? What are the results?
All right, so let's start off with you, Anthony. You had Bryce Young.
Ugh.
He netted you 7.16 points.
Ugh.
Alexander Madison, 10.8.
Ugh.
And your buddy Paris Campbell, 4.5. So he did play. Did he? And your total is 22.46 points.
Gross.
Not great.
No. If you want me to comment on it, here's my comment.
Yeah, I was waiting for it.
That's horrendous. And I need to be better, and I will be moving forward.
Okay.
But that was terrible, and I want to win.
I agree. I do too. I do too.
Fans should be calling for my head on this.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in a spot where they accept losing. I don't.
No.
I agree.
There's a couple of players in here that we're going to weed out.
Yeah, absolutely. We don't want just bobbleheads and fireworks.
No.
We want wins.
Exactly. So that's my statement.
I did not do all too much better than you did, Anthony. I had Geno Smith, who got me 9.2 points. Roshan Johnson, heard a lot about you. Didn't really play, 2.5 points. And then Adam Thielen, 15.2. So he sort of saved me, and I ended up getting 26.9 points.
I love that Thielen got you 15. Young got me 7.
Yeah.
The quarterback wide receiver combo there. Usually those numbers are flipped.
Absolutely.
Nonetheless, Jamie Killis?
Jamie did pretty well.
Nice, Jamie.
Actually, he had at least more than 20 than you. Baker Mayfield himself outscored Anthony's entire team with 22.94 points. Breece Hall had 9.9 and DeAndre Hopkins 10.3. Jamie, you win this week, 43.14 points.
So Jamie's up 1-0 on us.
Shaky Bakey did it for me.
Yeah, he did.
He did it for me.
He played very well against a good defense too.
Yep. I knew he was going to dismantle that team. Had all the confidence in the world, Anthony.
I know you did. Hey, do we just tie for the home run derby? That doesn't feel right to me.
Yeah, you did. So I guess we call it a tie and move on to build your sleeper team.
Royce Lewis.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, but I picked the first one.
Why don't we just pick a game tonight, Jamie?
Oh, you're just going to ambush me? Trojan horse me with this?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, I am.
What game?
You call it.
Hang on, let me pull it.
Phillies Marlins are going to give us a little more options than Diamondbacks Brewers, but
yeah.
Oh, nice.
Back. Stay fair. Go foul.
I don't believe what I just saw.
Home run.
So how are we going to do this? Are we going to flip a coin for first pick? Like, how's it work? Because
you could go first.
Okay.
And then tomorrow I'll go first if we don't.
If we don't
settle it. And this is sudden death. Yeah,
okay.
We're not doing this throughout the playoffs.
I think you guys just pick both games. Doesn't have to be a certain game. Just I guess it doesn't matter.
So.
Because they start at different times.
Let's just do it the way we're doing it.
Yeah. So
let's pace ourselves, Marsh. You can't just all at once. Just pace yourself. Let's build up the tension.
Well, we establish Anthony is pretty quick, and he might want.
Yeah,
he does pick very quickly.
Yeah, he might want to go first.
Yeah. Phillies. How about this? We got the Phillies Marlins game on tonight.
Right here
on 101 ESPN. So it's a nice cross promotion. Why don't we do that?
Okay. Here's my pick. It'll be over with the very first batter. Kyle Schwarber.
Wow.
First batter. This thing is over.
Anthony, can I help with your pick?
Why are you doing that?
Well, hang on a second.
How are you to help?
I'm just going to throw something out there.
I'm going to go with a Marlin.
That's what I was thinking.
Who's going to hit in the top of the first?
Yes.
Named Jorge Soler.
Not who I was thinking.
They're in Miami, aren't they?
No, they're in Philly.
Oh, crap.
So Jorge.
The way I read it on our board.
I know what you're doing. It's still a good pick.
I'm still picking Schwarber. I'm not budging off that.
I'm going Jorge Soler. Jamie's got Schwarber.
I was going to recommend picking the one guy that helped you with beat the streak.
Oh, he doesn't hit home runs, though.
No. You never know. It's the postseason.
He'll probably hit 5 singles.
If it's a singles contest, I'm all about Luis Ariz.
Well, if I'm playing this game for fun, I'm picking him.
Okay.
Marshy just wanted to be a part of it.
Marsh wanted to be a part of it. And you know what? And you know what? You're in. Okay.
Come on in, Marshy.
Come on
We'll
now.
let you play.
All right. Let's do the... We'll save the biggest question of the day. That was the biggest question of the day. Who we're going with tonight? What you missed, criticisms, compliments, next on 101 ESPN.
If you are in the market for replacement windows, please call my friends over at Window World. It's pretty simple, too. Just pick up the phone. Call 314-993-1800. Tell them that Jamie Rivers sent you in, and they're going to proceed to give you unbelievable customer service. I can tell you that because when I went over to visit the entire group over there at Window World, that's the number one thing they talked about. We want to make sure our customers are happy, and we want to make sure they're satisfied, and we want to make sure they get a great product. Well, guess what? They check all the boxes because that's what they do. The product is fantastic. It's a double-strength glass that, let's be honest, you just don't see that in replacement windows. Usually they're a little thinner, a little cheaper. They break easily. No, not a Window World window. They've got a great product over there and help save you money with the efficiency that it has. And also, they offer you a fantastic lifetime warranty that covers all the parts, the glass breakage, and the labor. And they're still offering 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. You really can't get any better than Window World. So please, again, give them a call at 314-993-1800, or you can look them up at windowworld.com.
you missed anything from today's show, you can always download the podcast at 101ESPN.com or your 101 ESPN mobile app, brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Had a full hour with our guy, Brad Thompson. We talked about Waino's weekend from his vantage point. Asked him about Oli Marmol's comments from Sunday and his reaction. Can the Cardinals land both Aaron Nola and Sonny Gray? Spent some time on that. And also asked BT what the new era of Cardinals baseball is going to look like without Adam Wainwright, without Yadier Molina, without Albert Pujols. Did our MLB postseason predictions. Talked about some fringe players for the Blues. Also had that discussion with Joey Vitale and previewed the NHL Central Division with the Jets this time around. Had a great audio mic drop or call from a Seattle sports station.
Sleepless in Seattle, we'll call them.
If you just eliminated the names, you wonder if that was a Cardinals fan making some of the points that they did. And did NFL stock market buy, sell, or hold quarterback edition. So that's all available on the podcast. Marsh, what do we got for criticisms and compliments?
Anthony, I think you'll like this one from the 636. Stoltz is looking jacked.
Oh, thanks. Thank you.
Good job, buddy.
Put in the work. Mentality's helped.
Sure has.
The MAC has helped.
Yeah.
Of course, I drive to the MAC in my Auto Centers Nissan vehicle from Herculaneum.
Look at you go right now.
Yeah.
Well done.
Coming from my nice, cool house, thanks to Swiss Air. So, we're on the Wizard of Comfort.
I mean, that was perfect.
I think that's...
Well done.
We talked to Stewie earlier.
We did.
Love that guy.
We were... we were talking earlier about a Mariners fan who expressed his displeasure with their organization, and we got a message from our YouTube chat brought to you by the Air Alliance team. Dan, he said he sounds more reserved than a Cards fan.
Wow, I don't know if
more
reserved.
reserved. Wow, I thought he brought a lot of heat and passion there.
He had
I think that's saying a lot.
Several volume level changes. He had some disgust. He had some snark. And he had some downright mean things to say. I don't know, man.
You know, did you hear what he said, though, too? I liked. He said somebody's got to hold him accountable.
Yeah.
That's the part that I'm like, oh, yeah, this is... You got the parallel there perfectly with Cardinals fans.
That was not the only one.
No.
There were several.
No, there were several, but that was the one that really stood out to me.
From the 309, isn't the loudest animal BK from earlier today, not the sperm whale?
I think that was the worst punishment. I know the Riz Show has done a lot of punishments throughout the years. That one was brutal.
Yeah, I don't know if you've ever had one of those stim machines slapped on you. I have one at home, and it's great for muscle recovery and injuries and things like that. And you have different settings. You have pulse. You have the normal one, and they definitely caution you not to to gradually turn it up to what she feels just slightly above uncomfortable and leave it at that.
Yeah.
The way they were doing it, I mean, yeah, that sucks.
And every segment? Didn't they do it every segment?
Going out of every segment, every commercial break. So it was 12 different breaks. BK's ab muscles are going to hurt for a week.
Yeah.
They are.
Yikes.
There's no joke there.
Yeah, that was brutal. That was brutal.
He sounded like a wounded animal.
Oh, yeah.
He kind of was.
I mean, he was completely vulnerable.
Yeah, he was. Especially with the position he was sitting in.
Yeah. He decided to kind of sit back there.
He was assuming the giving birth position.
Yeah.
Which I thought was interesting. But nonetheless, gutsy effort.
I felt bad for him, but, make better picks, right? So... make better picks, and then he doesn't have to worry about it. By the way, we are going to Scott Air Force Base on Thursday, so attention, Scott Air Force Base, for service members, their families, and anyone currently on base. You can join us in the Fast Lane this Thursday. We're doing a live broadcast for Military Appreciation Day, live broadcast from 2 to 6. It's a special Fast Lane Military Appreciation live broadcast this Thursday, 2 to 6, on base at the Exchange at Scott Air Force Base, all brought to you by Budweiser and Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling.
Sticking with the Gauntlet, we get a text from DE. Often I find the Gauntlet to be quite educational. I Googled up the blue and sperm whale. Interesting, especially certain physical traits of the sperm whale that just jumped off the page and smacked me into a state of awe.
Huh.
I'm glad that, our listeners are learning something.
Yeah, be careful, too, when you Google things. Make sure you spell them out completely.
Mm-hmm.
Help you out. Make sure you get to the right spot.
Yeah, don't just type the first word and hit enter,
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Assuming that Google will fill in the rest.
That could smack you right in the face.
It could.
Yeah. Wake-up call for sure.
You make a great point. From the 636, and we were talking earlier about the Blues defense, talking about some fringe players. For the 636, I believe the defense can improve if they attend a local Puck Wizards clear camp.
There it is again, Anthony. By the end of this, you're going to have people on a waiting list for something they don't even know what the hell it is.
It's like the Fire Festival.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Here's your wristband. You get into the clear camp.
The amount of passion that listeners have shown for the clear camp, the participation, it leaves me speechless, honestly. It really does.
It leaves you in a state of awe.
It leaves me in a state of awe. The people want their clear camp. I don't know why Jamie's been so resistant to it, but Marsh, we're going to push forward here.
You guys
Absolutely.
You guys can do that.
Yeah. And
I'm not.
We don't need Jamie's permission to do it.
No, you certainly don't. Nor do you need any affiliation with me.
Jamie's
or
like,
Synergy Hockey.
No, you don't need my approval to run an offsides camp. So
that's the next one.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Now what comes with the offsides camp? Are we learning how to drag our foot? What are we doing?
You'll find out. I haven't built it yet.
Oh, you don't want to spoil it.
I don't want to spoil it.
I get it. I get it. All right, last one here. From 314, I love it when Antonio rages, especially about soccer.
I'm passionate about it.
It's the Italian in you.
When somebody starts talking about the regular season meaning more than the championship, I can't stand that. And I'm not going to sit here or stand here and act like something like that's okay. Crown regular season championships.
Yeah.
Get out. Oh, we beat the one team on the Saturday. Really? Really? Nobody was watching. You win a championship, we're all watching.
This is true.
Preach.
I believe City SC beat Cincy this year, too.
I think they did. Wasn't it like a 5-1?
Yeah, it was like a 5-1.
That was the whatchamacallit game. Wasn't that the Thunder
from down under?
Thunder and Lightning game? No, it wasn't them. I don't think they were there.
That was FC Dallas, I think, where they had to postpone it.
Yeah, half a game.
No, there was it was here in St. Louis, and they had
they postponed it. Yeah,
they didn't postpone. They delayed it,
and then they came out and rubbed their noses in it.
Yeah,
that's why Pat doesn't want to. That's why he knows
he doesn't want to see us.
He doesn't want to. Yeah,
I actually think Cincinnati's keepers from my high school. I think I saw that afterwards.
Oh boy.
Either way, win a championship.
Old 9 Mile, huh?
See ya.